and she was so angry that she hit him. "You're frightening me to death." Qin Yan laughed softly. "Didn't you ask for a hug? Are you still cold now?" The deep voice came from the man's strong chest and penetrated into her ears like an electric current. Lin Wanshu felt like her whole body was about to burn. How could she still be cold? The two only met once a week, and each time they met they didn't have much time to spend together. Even if he didn't say it, Lin Wanshu could feel the strong emotion that seemed to be rubbed into her bones. Rubbing her little face against his chest, Lin Wanshu said sullenly, "I'm sorry for neglecting you during this period of time." Although it was not intentional, she was really too busy. After hearing her words, the annoyance in Qin Yan's heart disappeared and was replaced by a full heart of guilt. She is obviously just a weak woman, but she has to travel between two places not only to work, but also to maintain the relationship in the family compound. She was so busy, but she still had to take care of his mood and worry about the baby at home. Wan, I should be the one to say sorry. I am narrow-minded. We are not only husband and wife, but also independent individuals. You have your ideals and so do I. You have never complained that I am busy with work, so how can I blame you for not having time to accompany me? If he asked Lin Wanshu to give up her job and pursuits just because of his unhappiness, then he would be too selfish. And this was not what he wanted to see. Marriage is not just about love. It should also be about respect and tolerance. He didn't say this out loud, but Lin Wanshu still felt a completely different kind of love from the man. The feeling that her ideals were understood and respected made Lin Wanshu's heart feel as if it was filled with something. Unable to help herself, she stood on tiptoes and kissed him. "Thank you." Qin Yan felt her joy and felt extremely satisfied. But he still had his limits. He just hugged her for a while and then let go. After all, this is still outside. Even if there is no one around, don't go too far. Lin Wanshu got back on the bicycle, but she stayed very close to the person along the way. Just kept talking to him. Mainly, she was talking and he was listening. Soft and sweet words are given as if they are free of charge, and they make the man full of tenderness, with no place to vent. They finally got off the bus. He couldn't help but rub her head before reluctantly letting her get on the bus. Just before getting in the car, Lin Wanshu handed him a koi-shaped jade. "I carved this for you. You can carry it with you." This jade was originally a raw stone in the space, and it had been washed and soaked in spiritual spring water for who knows how long. Lin Wanshu studied medicine in her previous life. She also learned sculpture out of interest. Therefore, since returning to the family compound, she has spent time carving koi whenever she has free time. After carving, she put it in water for a long time. There are 3 in total, 2 big and 1 small. The big one was carved first, so she took it out and gave it to Qin Yan. The jade fell into his pocket. A faint warmth penetrated his clothes and entered his body, flowing along his meridians throughout his limbs. Qin Yan's eyebrows jumped. Wan, this is too expensive. He has to train every day and is afraid of losing it accidentally. If someone picks it up, it's no joke. You put it in the bag so it won't get lost. As she spoke, Lin Wanshu demonstrated it to him. And it explains what all 3 of them have. Hearing this, Qin Yan didn't say anything. After she fastened it, he tried it and found it was very secure. Exchanged a few more words at the station entrance before parting ways. Getting on the bus, Lin Wanshu's mood was actually not as good as it seemed. Although he could understand her pursuit, she felt that such frequent separation was not a good thing. But she doesn't have any good solution now, after all. This is the procedure for obtaining a medical license. In the end, Lin Wanshu could only suppress the discomfort in her heart and return to her busy hospital life. Now, she not only has to see patients, but sometimes she also has to go into the operating room with Shi Serong and observe her perform surgery. When she came back in the evening, Lin Wanshu was still studying various prescriptions in the space. Having a separate dormitory is that she doesn't have to worry about being seen even if she enters the space. That day, Lin Wanshu was seeing patients when suddenly a nurse came to see her. "Dr. Lin, Dr. Liu on the 2nd floor needs you to come over. There is a patient with necrotic legs who may need amputation." Several students have been observing Lin Wanshu treating patients for some time. It seems that no disease can stump her. Originally, they thought they were used to it, but when they heard the nurse ask Lin Wanshu to see a patient with leg necrosis, the students were still numb. Isn't she too comprehensive? When Lin Wanshu learned that it was Lu Guoyang looking for her, she did not delay, picked up her bag, and followed the nurse. Meng Yuanshuang, Tan Hongmei, and Zhou Xinshu were originally studying with her, so when they saw her leaving, they hurried to follow her. A group of people hurried to the second floor. In the ward, a woman in tattered clothes and with a sad face was kneeling on the ground, grabbing Lu Guoyang's clothes. "Doctor, please don't cut off my man's leg. How will he be able to work after you cut it off? The family depends on him for support. If his leg is amputated, it would be like the sky falling for her." This scene is so familiar. When Qin Hua first learned that Qin Yan was going to have an amputation, he was the same and almost knelt down to beg Lu Guoyang. Because of the same experience, Lin Wanshu can empathize with the family member's feelings. She walked up quickly and asked Lu Guoyang, "Dr. Lu, what's going on?" Lu Guoyang finally persuaded the family members to sit on the stool. When he saw Lin Wanshu coming, he couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. "Comrade Lin, you came at the right time. This patient's leg injury has been delayed for too long and has already become necrotic. We used your 2 patches of medicine, but they didn't achieve the expected effect. Can you see if there is any other method?" The family members were a little worried when they saw that Lin Wanshu was so young. But when she saw Lu Guoyang speaking to Lin Wanshu in a respectful manner, she swallowed the words in her mouth. Since he dared to find this young doctor, she must be really capable. "Doctor, please save my husband. He injured his leg while doing a water conservancy project for the country." In these days, in many places, members would be organized to repair canals and dams in winter. As the family member spoke, he knelt down to Lin Wanshu again. Lin Wanshu let her kneel? She quickly dodged. This family member's words are too serious. "I'll go in and take a look first." As she spoke, Lin Wanshu began to examine the patient. After the examination, she found that the patient's leg condition was even more serious than Qin Yan's last time. No wonder those 2 patches of medicine didn't work. After thinking about it, Lin Wanshu took out the ointment she had newly researched. "This is the ointment I improved upon the 2 patches of medicine I used. It has the effects of removing dead tissue, promoting tissue regeneration, promoting blood circulation, and relieving inflammation." Seeing the ointment in her hand, Lu Guoyang's face showed some excitement. "Comrade Lin, are you saying that this medicine is more effective than the last one?" Lin Wanshu nodded and didn't say anything else. After all her experiments were done in space. Lu Guoyang had witnessed with his own eyes how Lin Wanshu cured Qin Yan's leg, so he had no doubts about her new medicine. Instead, he urged her to give the patient medicine as soon as possible. Lin Wanshu originally developed this patch for the purpose of ease of use. And after several months of experiments, the results were very good, so she did not hesitate. After doing some simple treatment, she applied dark brown ointment to the patient, who had already lost feeling in his legs, suddenly let out a hiss. "Doctor, my leg hurts a little like a needle prick." Hearing this, Lu Guoyang's face was full of excitement. "Comrade, it's better if your legs hurt. You would cry if they didn't hurt." Hearing this, the patient finally reacted and his face suddenly showed joy. "Doctor, you mean my leg doesn't need to be amputated?" As he spoke, he carefully felt the tingling pain in his legs that came from time to time. For the first time in his life, he felt that pain was such a wonderful thing. Lu Guoyang was more excited than him. "That's right in theory. Let's wait and see tomorrow. If your leg gets better, there's no need for amputation. This medicine is more convenient and more effective than the last one." How could he not be excited? Tan Hongmei had long admired Lin Wanshu, and now seeing that she could easily restore consciousness to a person with a necrotic leg, she didn't know what to say. Tan Hongmei felt extremely proud when she thought about the fact that she was studying medicine in the same class with such a great person. The family heard that their man might not have to undergo amputation. They burst into tears of joy. "Thank you, doctor. You are our family's savior." As she spoke, she wanted to kneel down again, but he was stopped by Lin Wanshu. "Sister-in-law, It is our duty as doctors to save the dying and heal the wounded. You don't have to kneel. We are in a new society now, and this kind of thing is not allowed. After hearing this, the family members did not insist on kneeling down, but kept saying thank you. Without you, our family wouldn't be able to survive. At home, we're already poor, so who would do the exhausting water conservancy project if not to earn more work points? The woman's eyes were red, and she was mumbling something. Lin Wanshu was not impatient and comforted her. Don't worry, he will be fine. In those days, if a family didn't have a strong laborer, it would be impossible to support 5 children. His legs are not just legs, they are the livelihood of his family. Therefore, after comforting her, Lin Wanshu began to explain the precautions. The family members listened attentively and nodded from time to time. Okay, I will take good care of him. As she spoke, she turned her head and looked at the man's legs again, as if she was not looking at legs, but the hope of their entire family. Lin Wanshu handed the ointment to Lu Guoyang, and only after being told clearly when to change the dressing and what to pay attention to when changing the dressing can you return to the outpatient clinic. It took less than half an hour from top to bottom. No surgery or medication was needed. Just a box of ointment was enough to restore consciousness to a patient with necrotic legs. The news quickly spread throughout the hospital. Everyone was shocked to learn that there was such a talented intern among this batch of interns. Hey, what's the big deal? Don't you know? The 2 patches of medicine used in our hospital to treat severe injuries were made by her. Those who were more informed couldn't help but tell others everything they knew. Hearing this, the doctors and nurses couldn't help but gasp. Not only can they treat illnesses, but they can also make their own medicines? He's an intern at this level? If I tell this to others, who would believe it? A few months ago, a battalion commander almost had his limbs amputated, but she cured him. Also, I heard that she cured a patient with liver cirrhosis during her first consultation, and the fibrosis of the liver was reversed. Every time Lin Wanshu's achievements were mentioned, the doctors and nurses were shocked. In the end, they had all begun to doubt their lives. Why does such an amazing person need to come here for an internship? If they asked her, she could become a chief physician directly. Lin Wanshu ignored the discussions in the hospital. After work, after eating and taking a shower, she went into the space as usual. Just as she was about to go to the laboratory to prepare the medicine, suddenly, there was a familiar movement in the space. Lin Wanshu's heart skipped a beat, and a strange thought flashed through her mind. Could it be that Qin Yan can enter the space from another place? Just as I was thinking this, the next second, I saw Qin Yan appear in the space. Lin Wanshu looked at him in disbelief. Ian? Qin Yan also had a look of shock on his face. In his hand, he still held the jade that Lin Wanshu had given him last time. His body was wet, and it was obvious that he had just finished a shower. Lin Wanshu swallowed and slowly walked towards him. Only when she touched the warm texture did she dare to believe that he had really entered the space from a long distance. Ian, that's great. You can finally come in. Unable to hold back, Lin Wanshu hugged the person directly, her face full of joy. Qin Yan seemed to have just reacted and hugged the person back tightly. Daughter-in-law. He finished taking a shower just now. He subconsciously took out the jade pendant she gave him. Who would have thought that he could suddenly sense her space? Qin Yan subconsciously tried to enter the space, and ended up here. Couple had only been apart for 2 or 3 days, but Lin Wanshu felt like a long time had passed. After finally meeting, she felt a little clingy and didn't care about getting her medicine. Qin Yan had no power to resist her in the first place, and now she was still clinging to him like this. How could he bear it? However, he did not forget Xiao Miao Miao. He first put her into a room in the space that was exactly the same as the one in the family quarters, and then he carried his wife to the stone house. This is a space, and she can sense any unusual movement of the little guy immediately. Lin Wanshu was extremely excited that the father and daughter could enter the space from a different place. From now on, she can at least spend time with her daughter at night. But I can only accompany you until the end of the internship. Lin Wanshu was afraid that when she grew up, she would discover something was wrong. She didn't intend to let anyone know about the space except Qin Yan. had been apart for a long time were finally reunited in space. That night, Lin Wanshu slept very soundly. Even little Meow Meow was sleeping soundly. It was not until dawn that Qin Yan quietly took her out of the space. But there were a few more scratches on his bare back. On the other hand, after 3 days of hospitalization, He Wenju finally returned to the family quarters. However, Qiu Yong and Qiu Tingting were not at home. He Wenju was at the clinic. She paid attention to Qiu Tingting's news every day. Knowing that she was discharged from the hospital a day earlier than herself, she felt a little strange that she did not see the father and daughter. I was about to ask the neighbor next door. I saw that they had closed the yard door before I even got close. He looked as if he was afraid of her approaching. He Wenju. Knowing that they now thought she was crazy, she didn't find it strange. But she was worried about Qiu Tingting, so she could only continue to ask other people. Later, she finally found out that Qiu Tingting had been sent to Ma Qiuping's home. It seems that Qiu Yong has gone out on a mission with the army and no one knows when he will be back. He Wenju wanted to talk to Qiu Tingting, but was persuaded to go back by Ma Qiuping. When Qiu Yong comes back, you two should have a good talk. Tingting still has nightmares at night, so I'll take better care of her. Ma Qiuping said it very tactfully, but He Wenju still heard it. She was afraid that she would suddenly go crazy again and strangle her daughter to death. Not to mention her worry, other military wives are now also persuading their children to stay away from her when they see her. Once admired by countless children because she could assemble radios, but now she seems to have turned into a man-eating monster. No child dared to approach her. He Wenju was extremely helpless. But she couldn't explain that she didn't do it. After all, no one would believe such an outrageous thing if you told it to others. He Wenju felt that now only Lin Wanshu would pay attention to her. But she won't be back for a few days. In the end, she had no choice but to stay quietly in her own little yard and not go anywhere. Fortunately, the books she bought in the provincial capital are still at home. When she was bored, He Wenju hid in her room and read. When you get tired of watching, just go to the yard and exercise. Her yard was bare, with nothing in it, unlike other military wives who had something planted in their yards. However, she was not very interested in growing flowers and plants, so she just tinkered with installing a windmill generator in the yard. Alone was not enough, so she also tinkered with a storage battery. The materials were all collected by her at the scrap yard those days. Because she had the materials ready, it only took her 2 days to complete it. The other end of the battery was connected to a light bulb, and at night, she would simply turn on the light bulb. You don't even have to pay for electricity and the yard is brightly lit. Made by He Wenju successfully aroused the curiosity of the military wives. But no matter how curious they were, they didn't have the courage to come over and talk to her. Are you kidding? Who knows if she will suddenly go crazy? After all, a madman doesn't have to bear legal responsibility for killing someone, so it's just their bad luck if they die. However, there was one person who was very brave. Not only was he not afraid, he also went straight to the door. Director He, are you home? Tang Qian stood at the door, looking at the bright light bulb that lit up without pulling any wires, her face full of amazement. He Wenju was tinkering with some gadgets in the house. She was shocked to hear that someone dared to come to her. I'm here. Putting down the gadget in her hand, she walked out the door. He, it's like this, Director He. I heard that your light bulbs are free, so I wanted to come over and ask if you could help me install one. She brought her biological father home. Although she no longer has to send money to her younger brother, she has already developed the habit of spending every penny carefully. I couldn't even bear to turn on the lights. Now that she heard that her light bulb didn't need any electricity, she came to her door. He Wenju was not familiar with Tang Qian and did not know her personality. When she saw that she wanted to make a wind turbine, she did not refuse and agreed. To hear that she agreed. Thank you, Director He. I'll come get it from you in a few days. After saying this, she ran away happily. Before He Wenju even had the time to say a few more words to her, Tang Qian disappeared. He Wenju. Lin Wanshu happened to come back from the hospital. Seeing He Wenju standing blankly at the door, she greeted her. Comrade Wenju, why are you standing here? As she spoke, she looked at her calmly, as if judging something. When He Wenju saw that Lin Wanshu finally came back, her eyes suddenly lit up. Wanshu, you're back? That familiar accent and the friendly address, Lin Wanshu could almost conclude that she was that senior sister-in-law Wenju. Lin Wanshu excitedly stepped forward and held her hand. Just by changing the name, He Wenju's eyes instantly turned red. She didn't know why either. Maybe it was because she had been excluded for too long, or maybe it was because she seemed to be able to distinguish the difference between herself and that soul. In short, all kinds of feelings surged up in He Wenju at this moment. Seeing her red eyes, Lin Wanshu felt a little sad. I'm glad you're okay. You fainted last time and scared us all. She was not touched by such sincere concern. I heard everything. Thanks to you for saving me. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to talk to you here right now. In that last move before fainting, she used up all of her merits and finally killed the soul. She originally thought she would not survive, but she never thought that in a daze, she felt herself being pulled back again. It can be said that Lin Wanshu is her real savior. Lin Wanshu comforted her a few more times, and He Wenju then mentioned that Tang Qian had come to see her just now. She asked me to help make a wind turbine and a light bulb, but these needed to be assembled with the right parts. She left in a hurry just now, and I didn't have time to tell her. Hearing this, Lin Wanshu felt helpless. Tang Qian's old habit has come back, and she's trying to take advantage of others again? However, after she brought her father to the family compound, Lin Wanshu only chatted with her for a few words and had no idea about her current situation. I'm going to see her tomorrow. Do you want to go with me? He Wenju was worried about how she would be able to reintegrate into the family compound, and she also wanted to talk to Tang Qian about the generator, so she was naturally more than happy to hear this. Okay, what time do you want to go there tomorrow? I'll go with you. Lin Wanshu is back, and with her around, the other family members won't be too hostile to her. I'll call you tomorrow at 12 o'clock noon. Generally, during this time, military wives are in the family compound and are relatively free. The two agreed on a time. They separated. Lin Wanshu and his wife went to pick up Xiao Miao, while He Wenju returned to her room again to tinker with her gadgets. This busy work lasted until late at night. She turned off the lights outside the yard, gathered her clothes, and was about to go back to the house when she suddenly heard a familiar sound of footsteps outside. He Wenju turned around and saw Qiu Yong appear outside the gate. It was dark with only a little moonlight, so it was hard to see clearly. She only recognized Qiu Yong by his shape. Qiu Yong didn't expect that she was still awake so late. Standing at the door, his brows couldn't help but frown. Although she couldn't see his expression clearly, He Wenju guessed that he was definitely not in a good mood. Knowing that his anger was not directed at her, He Wenju felt that she could still talk to him. But before she could say hecko, Qiu Yong just turned around and left. He Wenju. Come on, there's nothing more to say, just go to bed. Unexpectedly, he didn't even come in, and just left. He Wenju suddenly got a little angry. Since he didn't give her a chance to explain, don't blame her. In the end, He Wenju didn't care about him anymore and went back to her room to sleep. It's really cold today. The next day, before He Wenju could wait for Lin Wanshu to come to see her, an unexpected person came instead. Qiu Yong's mother Wang Guifin was holding a bag in her hand, and when she saw He Wenju, her face immediately fell. What can I say about you? I told you to work from home, but you refused to do so, and now you're causing so much trouble when you come to join the army. It has made her have to travel back and forth even though she is finally retired at her old age. He Wenju narrowed her eyes and glanced at Qiu Yong. Good. That's great. He asked his mother to come over without telling her. Inside, but she didn't show it on her face. She lowered her head, as if she was listening to a lecture. Mom, you're right. I did do a lot of things wrong in the past. After this incident, I have reflected deeply on myself. Wang Guifin was also furious and was preparing to teach this mischievous daughter-in-law a lesson, but she didn't expect that she would admit her mistake directly. For a moment, the words that were not spoken were stuck in her throat, and she looked at her in some surprise and doubt. Her way of speaking was obviously different from that of He Wenju, which made Qiu Yong's eyes widen. Wenju. Qiu Yong walked forward with some excitement. But He Wenju ignored him and walked to Wang Guifan. Mom, you must be exhausted after driving all the way here. Let me carry the bags. As I said that, I reached out and took the bag. Wang Guifan finally reacted, but her face still looked bad. Humph. Don't think that everything will be fine if you please me. I tell you, it's useless. Come back to Ning City with me in a few days. If she stays here any longer, she might soon destroy her son's job. Hearing this, before He Wenju could react, Chiu Yong became anxious. Mom, there is a misunderstanding. I didn't explain it clearly. Wenju has some health problems. She has to stay here for a checkup and can't go back to Ning City for the time being. Upon hearing this, Wang Guifan's face immediately turned bad. It's because she's sick that I want to take her back. Can you take care of her if she stays here? Although her son did not explain clearly what the illness was on the phone, Wang Guifan guessed that it must be serious. Otherwise, why would she even hurt her own daughter? He Wenju nodded and agreed. Mom is right. It's better to go back to Ning City. With you here, I will definitely get better soon. That brainless and obedient look successfully made Wang Guifan speechless again. Looking at her daughter-in-law who seemed like a different person, she began to doubt her life. She becomes so obedient? When Chiu Yong heard that she was going back to Ning City with her mother, he was so anxious that his mouth was about to bubble. I felt even more annoyed at myself for telling his mother about this. Now that's good. She originally wanted to go back, and now she has an extra helper. If he wants to keep her, it will be very difficult. He Wenju was annoyed that he ran away without communicating with her yesterday, and today he called his mother-in-law over again, and she didn't even look at him from beginning to end. Instead, he concentrated on dealing with Wang Guifan. In her previous life, she not only studied abroad, but also received traditional education. As long as she is willing, no matter how difficult it is to get along with the elders, they will not be a problem for her. Sure enough, after a while, Wang Guifan, who was originally full of anger, finally looked much better. Chiu Yong followed behind, and seeing the two of them getting more and more interested in each other's conversation, he felt so regretful that he almost turned green with anger. When Wang Guifan finally remembered him, she asked him to go and pick up Chiu Dingting. Chiu Yong was eager to have a private chat with He Wenju, but she didn't give him a chance. In the end, he had no choice but to go and pick Tingting up first. On the other side, Tang Qian had just returned from the fields. I saw her walking into the yard carrying 2 full baskets of radishes. Her old father in Tang Qian has been full of energy. Every day she either works in the fields or goes up the mountain to pick up things. When I get home, I do housework and take care of the elderly and children. I also have to cook for Wang Guigang. She was busy all day long. Although she was very busy, Tang Qian had never felt so relaxed as she did during this period. She no longer had to secretly send money to her vampire brother without telling the man, and her old father was right in front of her. No matter how tired she is, she enjoys it. The weather was good this year, and with sufficient nutrients, Tang Qian's crops were big and healthy. The 2 baskets she poured out all the radishes. She picked out some of the most beautiful ones and sent them to some military wives later, and she planned to use the rest to make dried radishes. But just as the radishes were poured out, Wang Guigang came back. Tang Qian washed her hands and hurried forward. Lao Zhang, you're back? I'll cook for you right away. Today I'll have your favorite tofu. As she spoke, she took over his military cap with the most courteous attitude possible. Seeing her so humble, Wang Guigang had a complicated expression. He opened his mouth and was about to say something when a violent coughing sounded from the guest room. Tang Qian's expression changed. I'll go take a look. You sit there and wait. I'll be back soon to cook for you. After saying that, she hurried to the guest room. As soon as I entered the door, I saw that thin figure covering his mouth and coughing nonstop, as if he was going to cough out his lungs. Dad, why are you coughing again? He was clearly much better in the past 2 days. Why is he like this again? Tang Qian hurried forward and patted him on the back. After finally stopping, she poured him some water. But Tang Xiangdong waved his hand. Looking at his daughter, who was sweating profusely, his face was full of heartache. Near. It's Dad's fault that he's useless and has caused you trouble. Although I can eat enough here and stay warm, I can even have an egg every day. But Tang Xiangdong felt very uncomfortable. His daughter, who had always been strong-willed, had to be humble in front of Wang Guogang for him. Dad, stop saying those stupid things. You are my dad, and I will take care of you no matter what. Just because he has never treated her badly in this era, where men are valued more than women, she will always support him well. As long as he is fine, what does it matter if she is a little tired? The only regret is that her father, who is as strong as a tree, can never stand up like a normal person again. Tang Qian felt very strange about Tang Xiangdong's leg injury. It's obviously just a broken leg bone. Logically, if he takes care of it, he can walk with a cane even if he can't walk like a normal person. But after his leg healed, he still couldn't walk. It hurt so much when he stepped on the ground. Going to the hospital for a follow-up check, the doctor didn't say anything, so she could only take the baby back home and take care of it like this. After persuading him to drink some water, Tang Qian carried him to the toilet before going to the kitchen to cook. At this moment, her hair was messy and her clothes were covered with dirt, but she didn't care. Put rice in to cook, pick and wash vegetables. Seeing her like this, Wang Guogang couldn't help but sigh. After a pause, he turned around and went out. Tang Qian didn't notice where he went. After a busy day, she finally finished cooking, but couldn't find him anywhere. She suddenly became a little anxious. He is angry because he thinks her father has to take medicine for coughing and it is too much of a hassle? Tang Qian thought anxiously. She was afraid that he would change his mind and let her father go back to his hometown. She knew her scumbag brother. She had beaten him so badly last time, and he must have hated her to death. If her father goes back to his hometown, he will definitely have no way to survive. Tang Qian was as anxious as an ant on a hot pan. When she was about to go out to look for someone, she saw Tang Xiangdong coming back carrying several bamboos. How did you get so many bamboos? Tang Qian didn't dare to ask Wang Guogang where he had gone just now, but walked forward unobtrusively to help him get the bamboo. Wang Guogang knew that if he refused her help, she would definitely start to have wild thoughts again, so he simply let her take it. Then he said, I plan to make a wheelchair for Dad so that it will be easier for you to help him get out to bask in the sun when the time comes. Hearing this, Tang Qian was stunned on the spot. What? What did you say? Doesn't he mind that her dad has to spend money on medicine for his cough, and that he has to make a wheelchair for him? I said I wanted to make a wheelchair for my dad, and I've already found the wheels. After confirming that she was not hallucinating and that he really wanted to make a wheelchair for her father, Tang Qian's eyes turned red on the spot. Thank you, Lao Zhang, she said with a choked voice. How afraid was she that he would think her dad was troublesome? I have no income and rely entirely on his salary to live. If he didn't want to raise the child, she couldn't blame him. After all, he had no obligation to do so. But not only did he not despise it, he even wanted to make a wheelchair for her father? Lao Zhang, I will treat you very well in the future. I promise not to quarrel with you. If you say east, I will never go west. Tang Qian was so excited that she was incoherent. Hearing this, Wang Guogang was both angry and amused. Finally, he said helplessly, Tang Qian, we are husband and wife, so let's not say any more unnecessary words. Let's just live a good life from now on. My brother-in-law is a scumbag. If he doesn't care about his sick father-in-law, is he still a man? Hearing this, the huge stone that was pressing on Tang Qian's heart was finally removed. With his words, she felt that life was more hopeful. After lunch, Tang Qian was about to wash radishes when Lin Wanshu and a few military wives came. Seeing the yard full of white radishes, Lin Wanshu was a little shocked. Tang Qian, your radishes are so good, aren't they? None of the people she had served carefully before were as good as hers.
Tan Kian chúc cờ.
I don't have any other skills except taking care of the crops. Because of what Wang Guogang said just now, she is in a very good mood now. Wanshu, don't listen to her modesty. Everyone in our family compound knows how good she is at growing things. She can grow things that others can't grow, and hers grows better than others. Even the vegetables she casually planted by the field grew better than those they carefully tended. Lin Wanshu. How come she doesn't know she has this talent? However, when she saw the juicy radishes all over the ground, she couldn't help but feel a little greedy. Pickled radish, stewed radish, stir-fried shredded radish.
Hiss.
No. Let Qin Yan pull up the radishes from home later. Has always been very thick-skinned, felt a little embarrassed when she was praised by several military wives. He pointed at the radishes she had just picked out and said, "Each of you take 2 back to try later." Hearing this, the military wives couldn't help but wonder if there was something wrong with their ears. "What did you say? You're going to give us carrots? Is this still the same Tang Qian who is stingy and always loves to take advantage of others?
Tang Qian.
Is it weird that I gave you some carrots?" The military wives were not polite at all and nodded in unison. "That's strange. Tell me what you want to borrow from us first. I'll think about it. If I can accept it, I'll ask for your carrots." Ugly words in advance to avoid suffering a big loss later. Seeing that they were guarding against her as if she were a thief, Tang Qian actually blushed, which was a rare occurrence.
Oh.
The past is the past. I have changed now. I am not the same as before. I will give you these carrots to eat. I promise not to borrow anything from you. Tang Qian patted her chest and assured. The main thing is that she doesn't have to send things to her brother anymore, so she isn't so strapped for cash. After hearing this, the military wives finally believed that she was really going to send them radishes. "You said that, so I won't be polite to you." The sun rose from the west, and Tang Qian, who was always stingy, gave them radishes, which made the military wives a little uncomfortable. But they couldn't resist the temptation of the big radishes, so everyone took 2. "We got a good deal today. You know what? It feels really good." A military wife couldn't help but make a joke. Tang Qian was not angry. She just laughed it off. Huan Zhu came here with Lin Wanshu. After settling her mother-in-law down, Lin Wanshu happened to come over, so she followed her out. I met other military wives on the road. Perhaps it was because of Lin Wanshu's presence. Although they were still somewhat repulsed by her, at least they didn't say anything unpleasant. This time she also got 2 radishes. Not to mention, this radish is quite heavy. Lin Wanshu came here to check on the condition of Tang's father's leg injury. The last time she heard Tang Qian mention it, she kept wondering what his situation was after she went back. Now that she finally has a holiday, she comes over to take a look. The other military wives were originally going to look for Lin Wanshu, but when they saw her coming to see Tang Qian, they simply came over together. When Tang Qian heard that Lin Wanshu wanted to show her father her legs, she was immediately moved. Then he led her to the guest room. The others had nothing to do, so they followed in to take a look. With so many people coming all of a sudden, Tang Xiangdong felt a little uneasy and didn't even know what to do with his hands. "Dad, this is a military wife from our family compound. She is a very good doctor, and she wants to check your legs." Tang Qian hurriedly introduced someone to him. Hearing that it was a doctor, Tang Xiangdong felt less embarrassed. It's just that he knows his own business and doesn't want to trouble others. "Nir, I know what's wrong with my leg, so don't look for a doctor for me. Leave the money for Yaya and Junzi to study. He has become a useless person and should have died long ago. Why waste money? It would be better to save it for his grandchildren." How could Tang Qian not see what he was thinking? Suddenly, she felt a pang of bitterness in her heart. "Dad, don't say that. An old man in the family is like a treasure. I will feel at ease only if you are well." Guogang originally said that he would take a leave to take you to the provincial capital for a checkup when he is not busy for a while. Now Wanshu is time, and she is willing to see you, so just let her see it. If it were in the past, Tang Qian would have called Lin Wanshu over to help her without hesitation. After all, it's a good idea to take advantage of a good deal. But after what happened last time, she has now controlled her greed. We must not let the military wives who help us feel disheartened. But now Lin Wanshu took the initiative to help her father with his medical treatment, and Tang Qian naturally wanted nothing more than to accept it. Although I don't know if she can be cured, the more people see her, the more hope there is. Hearing that his son-in-law was planning to take him to the provincial capital to visit, Tang Xiangdong felt both moved and sad. When he was young, everyone in the village laughed at him, saying why was he so nice to a girl, because she would probably marry someone else when she grew up. But now that he is old and has experienced all those things, he suddenly feels fortunate that he did not listen to them. Otherwise, he would have no face to stay here. Lin Wanshu also advised, Uncle Tang, I don't charge for prescribing medicine. If you see medicinal herbs in the mountains, just pick some for me and use them to pay for the medicine. During this period, the military wives collected a lot of medicine for her. An entire wall of her medicine room is filled with medicine boxes. It can be said that she has most of the medicines that she needs on a daily basis. Moreover, the military wife not only helped her pick the hair, but also did some simple processing for her, saving her a lot of effort. Lin Wanshu usually prepares medicines and conducts experiments in the space, and basically uses the medicines collected by the military wives. After all, these are the medicines that can be used in practice. She didn't intend to use the herbs in the space at will. Yes, Uncle Tang, just let her see me. Wanshu's medical skills are amazing. I often have headaches, and she just prescribes 2 doses of medicine for me, and it's all right. Zhong Fengshu also advised. However, she was not so shameless as to only give her medicinal herbs. Instead, she brought her a dozen eggs and gave Xiao Miao Miao some of the delicious food she had on weekdays. She treats Xiao Miao Miao more carefully than her own child. The other military wives took the medicinal food for a period of time. Their complexions all looked much better. They had complete faith in Lin Wanshu's medical skills. Because Tang Qian had to go back to pick up Tang Xiongdong last time, she didn't know that Lin Wanshu's medical treatment was free. Now, when I heard that she didn't even charge for the medicine, I was stunned.
No, what does she want?
If you don't charge for medical treatment and use medicinal materials as compensation, won't these medicines still be prescribed to patients in the end? Her lips moved, and she wondered if Lin Wanshu was crazy to do such a losing business. But when she thought about how the military wives not only helped her take care of the children but also did farm work, Tang Qian suddenly felt that she was too narrow-minded and too concerned about gains and losses. No wonder they didn't like to take her out to play before. Wanshu, if you need any herbs, I'll go up the mountain every day and pick them for you. Regardless of whether she can cure her father's leg or not, she will treat collecting herbs as her own business in the future, without spending any money. After hearing the persuasion of the military wives, Tang Xiongdong finally stopped saying no. Lin Wanshu began to examine him, but after seeing his hand, she couldn't help but frown. It turned out that Tang Xiongdong's finger joints looked very strange. Not only were the joints swollen, but they were also twisted. Uncle Tang, how long have you been in this situation? Lin Wanshu picked up his hand and examined it carefully, then asked. Before Tang Xiongdong could answer, Tang Qian said, it has only happened in the past 2 years. My dad's hand was fine before his leg was injured. Does this have anything to do with my dad being unable to stand up? Lin Wanshu nodded. I suspect it might be rheumatoid. If it's rheumatoid, it would be a bit troublesome. Tang Qian didn't know what rheumatoid arthritis was, she only knew what rheumatism was. People who work in the countryside all year round will suffer from rheumatism to some extent when they get older. Although it is uncomfortable on rainy days, it is not a serious illness, and most people don't take it too seriously. Lin Wanshu didn't say anything. She gave him a further examination and asked him several questions. A thorough examination, she was basically able to confirm his condition. It turned out that Tang's father's leg had been injured a second time, and he did not receive good treatment, so the bones did not heal well. Plus, he had rheumatoid arthritis, so it was a miracle that he could stand up. Heard that her father's leg had been injured a second time, she clenched her fists until they made a cracking sound.
Beast.
How dare he? She should have broken his legs too, so that he could experience the feeling of having a broken leg. When Tang Qian thought about her father not only suffering from a broken leg, but also having to endure the pain all over his body brought on by rheumatoid arthritis, she wanted to rush back and beat that beast to death. But the most urgent task now is to heal her father's leg first. Wanshu, do you think his leg can be cured? Lin Wanshu nodded. It can be cured, but it will take a long time. I will fix his leg bones first and then do other treatments. My time in the family home is short, so you have to learn massage techniques and give him massage every day. When she heard that it could be cured, Tang Qian was overjoyed. As long as it can be cured, I'd be willing to learn massage and even pick up manure every day. Nowadays, you have to carry manure to water crops, which is not only smelly, but also very tiring. This shows how anxious Tang Qian is. When Tang Xiangdong heard Lin Wanshu say that he still had a chance to recover his legs, he became extremely excited. But his excitement inevitably caused him to cough violently again. Lin Wanshu already had a basic understanding of his physical condition, so she naturally knew that he had a cold. After seeing the doctor, she went straight home to prescribe 2 prescriptions for him and then took out the black ointment from the space. Then he said to Qin Yan, who was standing beside him, Yan, I need your help. Qin Yan was reading a book just now. Since his wife came in, he couldn't concentrate on reading a single word. Seeing that she asked him for help, he put the book into the space without hesitation.
Good.
There was no intention of asking her what help she needed. Xiao Miao Miao followed the 2 of them happily, and there were several other children following behind her. Even Qiu Tingting was among them. After the group arrived at Tang Qian's house, Qin Yan finally understood what Lin Wanshu wanted him to do. It turned out that they wanted to give Tang Xiangdong bone-setting treatment.
1.
Wanshu, will it hurt? Tang Qian watched from the side and couldn't help but feel nervous. Isn't this equivalent to breaking and reconnecting the leg bones? Felt so painful just listening to it. Lin Wanshu nodded. If you don't do this, you won't be able to fully recover. There was no fear on Tang Xiangdong's face. Hadn't he suffered enough in the past few years? Comrade, go ahead. I can bear it. Qin Yan held his leg, nodded, and asked him to bear with it. Then, I don't know how it happened, but I saw his hand move slightly, and a click sound was heard in the quiet room. Tang Xiangdong broke out in a cold sweat due to the pain. But he just didn't say a word, and just endured it. Tang Qian felt so distressed that she held his hand tightly, as if to give him some strength. Thanks to Qin Yan's 5 senses, he also has extraordinary control over the human skeleton. Things like bone setting are naturally no problem. After he was done, Lin Wanshu immediately applied the black ointment on Tang Xiangdong. Then, used the wooden boards prepared in advance to secure it firmly. Doing all this, Tang Xiangdong was already sweating profusely. Dad, how do you feel? Tang Qian asked with concern while wiping his sweat with a handkerchief. I'm fine. Don't worry. No matter how painful it is, can it be more painful than the past few years? It's just a bone reset, so this little pain is nothing to him. At the door, there were many military wives standing there watching the fun. Everyone present was shocked to hear that Lin Wanshu was going to treat Tang Xiangdong, who had had a broken leg for 3 years. It's been so long. Can it still be cured? After such a long time, the leg bones must have atrophied, right? Who knows? They are all doing internships at Wen City Military Hospital now. They are very impressive, Fong Bailey said in a sarcastic tone. She's just an intern. I thought she was already a chief physician. She's treating this and that patient all day long, which shows how capable she is. Guan Hongmei couldn't help but curl her lips. The last time they complained about Lin Wanshu, they failed and were slapped in the face. Both of them held a grudge against her. Seeing that she was showing off her medical skills again, he couldn't help but make a few sarcastic remarks. Yang Zhen couldn't bear to listen anymore and couldn't help rolling her eyes. He is really capable. If you are not convinced, why don't you also put it in the newspaper for everyone to see? That's right, he even received recognition from the group. What about you? Have you made any contribution? How dare you make irresponsible remarks here? Chen Liming also echoed. Although she had never seen Lin Wanshu for medical treatment, she had no reason not to protect her just because she had contributed prescriptions and donated 800 yuan before. Other people had almost the same idea as Chen Liming. Just because Lin Wanshu usually treats everyone without asking for anything in return, if they still attack her and mock her, are they still human beings? A while, Fong Bailey and Guan Hongmei became the rats crossing the street. The military wives talked to them one after another, making them feel ashamed, and finally they left in shame. Lin Wanshu was somewhat surprised by the discussions outside. In total, She had only treated 2 or 3 military wives properly. They all get along very well with her and take good care of Xiao Miao Miao on weekdays. Why do they all seem to have received a great favor from her? Why do they protect her like this? Lin Wanshu felt a little complicated. After a pause, she collected her thoughts and told Tang Qian what to pay attention to. Tang Xiongdong's legs had just been reattached, so he didn't need massage yet. He just had to move as little as possible on a daily basis and take the 2 medicines she prescribed whenever he wanted. Tang Qian nodded as she listened. I'll remember that. I'll definitely keep a close eye on him. She was thrilled at the thought that her dad might be able to get back on his feet. After Lin Wanshu finished her instructions, she didn't stay long and went out with Qin Yan. Outside the yard, the children were playing the game of beating the Japanese invaders together again. A group of children were divided into 2 groups, each sending out a representative to play rock, paper, scissors. The winner would become the Chinese army, and the loser would become the Japanese. The kids were fighting in the street, using the walls as cover and occasionally showing their little heads, making a lot of noise. Whoever hits the other person first will be killed and leave the line of fire. Xiao Miao Miao followed behind Shenyu and Qiu Tingting, holding the fake gun her father made for her, and played the shooting game in a very realistic way. Sister, you hide behind me. I will cover you, Shenyu said with great passion. Every time, the elder brother was in the same group with Xiao Miao Miao, and today he finally beat him. No matter what, I must protect my sister and win this battle. How could Xiao Miao Miao listen to him? Holding a gun, she poked her head out from the corner of the wall in a very professional manner. Before Shenyu could stop him, he saw his brother's gun pointing towards him. Careful. Shenyu finished speaking. He realized that the gun was not going to hit Xiao Miao Miao, but was pointing directly at him. Shenyu. How cunning. Why didn't he hit Xiao Miao Miao, but hit himself instead? Shenyu was furious. But after being named, he had no choice but to die unwillingly. Xiao Miao Miao tilted her head, having no idea what was going on, and was pulled back by Qiu Tingting. The 2 of them squatted directly under the firewood pile. Sister, help me keep an eye out for anyone behind me. If there is anyone, beat him up.
Ok.
Qiu Tingting held a submachine gun made of paper in her hand and gave instructions to Xiao Miao Miao with a serious look on her face. Xiao Miao Miao seemed to understand, but still nodded seriously. Cooperated with each other, one attacking in the front and the other attacking in the back. In a short while, 2 people were knocked down. Qiu Tingting was so excited that her face flushed red, and there was no trace of the gloom she had in the past few days. Seeing her like this, He Wenju finally felt a lot better. After Qiu Yong took her home today, she still didn't say a word to Qiu Tingting. He Wenju knew that it would be impossible to repair the damage done to her in a short time, so she didn't try to get close. Now, seeing that she was having so much fun, she felt relieved. Holding the big radish and mustard greens that Tang Qian gave her, she walked back without stopping. I just talked to Tang Qian and she said she would go to the scrap yard with me in a couple of days. He Wenju has been buying books and materials these days and has spent most of her money. Making a wind turbine costs more than 10 yuan, so she certainly couldn't give them away for free. After chatting with Tang Qian for a while, He Wenju was relieved to see that she was not as rumored. After all, no one likes to be taken advantage of. Lin Wanshu was also carrying a lot of things in her hands, all of which were stuffed into her by Tang Qian. She also wanted to give her eggs, but Lin Wanshu didn't want them. So, she just asked for something she grew herself. I plan to take them home and pickle them. Was also relieved to hear that Tang Qian had no intention of taking advantage of her. The 2 of them walked back, chatting all the way. Lin Wanshu didn't want to do anything in the afternoon, so she planned to spend all her time with her man and daughter. He Wenju walked back carrying radishes and mustard greens. As soon as I walked into the yard, I ran into Qiu Yong. It looks like he has been waiting here for a while.
Zhu.
Zhu, let's talk. He Wenju. What the heck is Zhu? You are the pig. Giving him an unpleasant glare, she turned and headed for the kitchen. Qiu Yong. He clearly heard Qin Yan calling his wife the same way. But it's different when it comes to me? What exactly is wrong? Suddenly, Chiu Yong remembered what he overheard a young soldier in the regiment say, that women always say one thing and mean another. Not wanting means wanting. Therefore, he decided to continue calling her that. In the kitchen, He Wenju was washing radishes. When she saw Chiu Yong following in, she ignored him. Chiu Yong was watching her from the side. I saw her two slender hands slowly and methodically washing the radishes in the basin, as if she were not washing radishes, but some precious food. With his gaze, and continued to concentrate on her own work. Just like in the past few days, she patiently assembled various strange small appliances. After a long time, Chiu Yong finally spoke. What's your situation now? Where did that He Wenju go again? Chiu Yong believed that what He Wenju said was at least half true. Therefore, he now also urgently wants to know what is going on with them. He Wenju knew that he would ask this question sooner or later, and she didn't intend to hide it. After all, he already knew that he was one body, with two souls. But this is not the place to talk. Although Wang Guifan is out, I don't know when she will come back. It would be bad if these words were heard by others. Chiu Yong also thought of it and took her back to the house. The two closed the door and sat facing each other. It's a long story. In her previous life, after returning from studying abroad, He Wenju threw herself into the vigorous revolution. Tong Xiangxiao was a classmate she met in the United States. The two came back together and agreed to contribute to the revolution. In this way, they all became underground party members, specializing in collecting intelligence for the group. At first her work went smoothly, but after a few years, something started to go wrong. Her work was nearly exposed several times. The last time she barely escaped death and happened to meet Tong Xiangxiao. I originally thought I was going to be saved, but before she could be happy, she pointed a gun at her. At that moment, He Wenju finally understood why she was almost exposed several times. It turned out that Tong Xiangxiao was instigated to rebel. She betrayed her and the group. Unfortunately, she realized it was too late. He Wenju died at the hands of Tong Xiangxiao. Before she was reincarnated, she had an accident and her soul was damaged. This allowed Tong Xiangxiao to take advantage of the opportunity and snatch her body when she was a child. After hearing these bizarre words, Chiu Yong felt that his three views were about to be overturned. It took him a long while to digest what she said. After a pause, Chiu Yong said, Juju, are you saying that person has disappeared and will never come back? He Wenju felt helpless when she saw him calling her Juju again. But she didn't try to correct him and just nodded. That's right. After hearing this, Chiu Yong finally breathed a sigh of relief. He had no sympathy at all for Tong Xiangxiao's experience. From the day she betrayed her country and her people, she was their enemy. It has been a blessing for her to enjoy the new Chinese life for so long. The person in front of him is pitiful. Not only was he betrayed by Tong Xiangxiao in his previous life, but his life was also robbed by her in this life. I dare not think about how she has been through all these years. Juju, you have suffered. Ever since he knew that she was a young lady from a wealthy family who studied abroad in her previous life and returned to join the revolution, Chiu Yong's heart has been surging and has never calmed down for a second. Such an outstanding girl, she turned out to be his wife. No wonder she could piece together a radio so easily. No wonder her every move reveals her good upbringing. Respect, love, and admiration surged in his heart, and the look he gave He Wenju was incredibly hot. He Wenju's face turned red when she looked at her, and she couldn't help but glared at him. Why do you keep looking at me? Obviously, he didn't look like such a reckless person before. You are my wife. It was obviously the same face, but Chiu Yong couldn't seem to get enough of looking at it. He Wenju was helpless. In the end, she didn't plan to say anything more to him and just stood up to leave. I'm going out now, go and do your own thing. In broad daylight, it is inappropriate even for a couple to stay in the same room for so long. But as soon as she stood up, someone grabbed her hand. Juju. He Wenju's heart skipped a beat. Worried about being caught by her mother-in-law, she tried to break free from his hand. But I didn't expect that his hands were like a pair of pliers and I couldn't get them free. Let go of me. I'm going to stew radishes. The radish should be boiled first, then simmered in the pot until the afternoon, and then stewed again. The radish stewed in this way is fragrant and tasty. He Wenju didn't understand any of these things before, but later when she was doing underground work and life was hard, she learned a little bit of everything. Xiao Yong didn't want to let go. He wanted to chat with her for a while longer. However, before he could say anything, he heard Wang Guifen's voice coming from outside. Where did they go? Why is there no one here? Xiao Yong. He is simply shooting himself in the foot. At this moment, Xiao Yong regretted extremely that he should not have let his mother come. He Wenju couldn't help laughing when she saw how depressed he looked. Don't discuss it with yourself before asking him to do something. Lin Wanshu was going to treat Tang Xiangdong's legs spread not only throughout the family compound, but even to the health center. When the health center heard that she was going to treat an elderly man's leg injury who had been broken for 3 years and also had rheumatoid arthritis, the whole place went wild. She didn't perform surgery on the patient, but just straightened his bones? Qi Honglian felt that this was a bit too absurd. Since the fracture, the leg must be deformed, right? And she didn't even have any surgery but just gave it to someone else like that? It's undeniable that she does have some skills, but she went too far this time. Qi Honglian crossed his arms over his chest and said with a look of disdain. Zhang Qingfeng was SBE specialist. What does it have to do with you if she does something wrong? She's not in our clinic, so why should you care about her? Qi Honglian was SBE specialist. But I don't know what she thought of. She snorted again. She is still just an intern, right? She doesn't even have a medical license, yet she dares to treat patients in the family housing. However, not having a medical license is not a serious matter in this day and age. After all, there is such a huge shortage of doctors. It's good enough to be able to see a doctor. Who cares about so many things? However, Qi Honglian suddenly stopped talking, and a dark light flashed in her eyes. Zhang Qingfeng didn't know what she was thinking, and when he saw that she stopped talking, he couldn't help but feel relieved. I don't know what's going on with this person, but he has to make things difficult for Lin Wanshu. But he didn't think too much about it. Instead, he became interested in Lin Wanshu's treatment plan. He already had a certain understanding of Lin Wanshu. If she was not sure, she would definitely not do this. After work, Qi Honglian, who was originally supposed to work the night shift, found someone to switch shifts and took a bus to Wen City. At that time, Lin Wanshu was following Shi Surong into the operating room and watching her perform surgery on a patient. Ever since she knew that she was the daughter of an old acquaintance, Shi Surong's teaching to her could be said to be all-round and detailed, as if she wanted to cram all she had learned in her life into her brain. And Lin Wanshu did not disappoint her expectations. Whenever she had free time, she would review what she had told herself. Apart from eating and taking a bath, she hardly took a break. She already had a solid foundation, and with a period of experience, her medical skills made a qualitative leap. Not only did she study herself, she also gave guidance to this group of students on a daily basis. It was so busy that December came quickly. It gets dark earlier and earlier, and every time I get off work, I can hardly see the road. Qin Yan was reluctant to let her travel back and forth, but Lin Wanshu still had to treat Tang's father's leg, so she still insisted on going back to the family compound once a week. Unable to persuade her, Qin Yan had to prepare a military coat for her to prevent her from getting cold when she came back. Meng Yuanshuang hasn't returned to Lan County for a long time, not sure if it's because of the cold weather or some other reason. Lin Wanshu asked twice, and she said she couldn't answer. She didn't ask again. That day, Lin Wanshu had just given Tang Xiangdong acupuncture and was about to change his medicine when she saw Ji Hualan walk in with a serious look on her face. Tang Qian subconsciously began to reflect on herself. But after thinking about it, she didn't realize that she had done anything out of the ordinary recently. Finally, I had no choice but to ask her. Hualan, what's wrong with you? Lin Wanshu evenly applied the ointment in the box on Tang Xiangdong's legs. After 20 days of treatment, his legs recovered very well. It is estimated that by the end of December, his fracture will be mostly healed. This also made the military wives who had originally doubted her shut up. Zhang Qingfeng even looked for her more than once. At this moment, Lin Wanshu was treating Tang Xiangdong, and he was watching from the side. In the room was very bright. It was the light bulb from the wind turbine made by He Wenju. Since there was no electricity bill, Tang Qian was very generous and directly used a 20-watt light bulb. Ji Hualan looked at Lin Wanshu, who was carefully applying the medicine, pursed her lips, and said in a deep voice, "Someone reported that Wanshu was practicing medicine illegally." Hearing this, everyone in the room gasped. Who reported it? Darn it, I'm going to beat his head off. Tang Qian was so angry that her face turned red. She rolled up her sleeves and looked like she was ready to fight someone to the death. This is outrageous. Her father's leg finally looked like it had hope of recovery. Who on earth was so jealous of others' success that he dared to report Lin Wanshu? Yes, Hualan, do you know who reported it? Let's go and argue with him. On what basis did he report us, Wanshu? The weather has been cold these days, and the children in the family compound often catch colds and fevers. Whenever Lin Wanshu returns home, the military wives usually ask her to prescribe some medicine. His medical skills are really amazing. No matter it's a fever or a cough, a massage and 1 or 2 patches of medicine will basically make it better quickly. To put it bluntly, they even think it is more reliable than going to the health center to get medicine. After all, the clinic mainly treats adults and prescribes pills. The child may get better after taking a bunch of colorful pills, but the side effects are really serious. Now that they heard that someone had actually reported Lin Wanshu, the military wives were even angrier than the person involved. Even Zhang Qingfeng didn't look very good. Comrade Ji, just tell me who reported it. I will only report the situation to the team. Ji Hualan shook her head. I don't know who reported it, I just know it was someone from Wen City. Director Ma asked Wanshu to come over. Hearing this, Lin Wanshu was not in a hurry and continued to apply the medicine to Tang Xiangdong carefully. After wiping it, she didn't hesitate and asked Zhang Qingfeng to help bandage it. Okay, I'll do it. You go and see what's going on. I'll be there later. Zhang Qingfeng nodded and took over her work. Ever since he learned that traditional Chinese medicine is just as effective as Western medicine in treating trauma, he's been studying it a lot these days. Whenever Lin Wanshu returned home, he would definitely come over to ask for advice. Therefore, he is now very familiar with Lin Wanshu, and their conversation is no longer as awkward and polite as it was at the beginning. Good. With Zhang Qingfeng around, Lin Wanshu had nothing to worry about. After washing his hands, he left with Ji Hualan. Several military wives were worried, so they followed to see which jerk had reported the person. Tang Qian no longer cared about her father. At this moment, she had only one thought in her mind, which was to protect Lin Wanshu. On the way, they met a few military wives. When they heard that someone had reported Lin Wanshu, their faces looked very ugly. Let us go and take a look. In a short while, the team grew from 4 or 5 people to more than a dozen. Lin Wanshu looked at the military wife who followed behind her and said she wanted to protect her, and she would be lying if she said she wasn't touched. But she knew her own situation, so she advised them not to go. But the military wives refused to listen and insisted on going to see who was secretly doing bad things behind the scenes. Seeing that she couldn't persuade them, Lin Wanshu could only let them go. The group soon arrived at the Parent-Teacher Association office. Ma Qiuping was talking to a few people in uniform. When she saw Lin Wanshu coming, she hurriedly invited her in. Ji Hualan was the director of the Parents' Committee, and she accompanied Lin Wanshu directly inside. The other military wives also wanted to follow, but were stopped by Ma Qiuping. Director Ma, we also want to hear what's going on. Tang Qian stood at the door and refused to go out. The other military wives also looked at the men in uniform as if they were facing a great enemy, as if they were looking at someone with bad intentions. The leading captain, Mu Weiguang, was silent for a moment before he said helplessly, "Don't worry, comrades. We are here just to ask Comrade Lin a few questions." But the military wives who heard this didn't believe it at all. Is there anything you can't say in front of all of us? This is a military family compound. If anyone wants to bully us military wives, I'll be the first to say no. That's right. We all heard that someone reported her for practicing medicine illegally. Let me ask you, she didn't even charge us any money. She was just doing us a favor. How can this be considered a legal practice of medicine? Whoever reported her, please ask him to come out and confront us. The doctor has no objection, and the patient has no objection. We are willing to help each other, so why would he have any objection to reporting someone? At time, the military wives were outraged. Mu Weiguang even had the chance to ask. He was scolded by the military wives until he was sweating profusely. I couldn't help but curse the person who reported it in my heart, saying that he was just bored. People any money, and at most I'm just doing them a favor. How can this be considered illegal medical practice? Thinking of this, Mu Weiguang smiled somewhat awkwardly. Haha. Misunderstanding. It's all misunderstanding. Comrades, listen to my explanation. But just as he finished saying this, he heard a questioning voice coming from another office in the conference room. What misunderstanding? She treated patients in the family compound without a medical license. If something went wrong, would she be able to take responsibility? Hearing this familiar voice, Lin Wanshu instantly understood. You reported me? Looking straight at Fong Bailey at the office door, she asked in a cold voice. TSK, I didn't report you. I just told the truth.
What?
Is there anything wrong with what I said? Fong Bailey crossed his arms over his chest and stared back at Lin Wanshu without any fear. Hearing this, Lin Wanshu's eyes flickered over her, and suddenly she remembered that the uniformed men Ji Hualan mentioned just now were from Wen City, and she couldn't help feeling a little strange. If it was Fong Bailey who reported it, would she have to run so far? But if it wasn't her, then who was it? Although she was full of doubts, Lin Wanshu did not show them on her face. Instead, she said sarcastically, I don't know who secretly asked me to prescribe medicine for you a few days ago. Why do you hold a grudge against me just because I don't want to prescribe it for you? Lin Wanshu also found out that it was Fong Bailey who asked her to open the door after she heard the military wife let it slip. People picked on her again and again, but she was not the Virgin Mary. Knowing that it was Fong Bailey who asked someone to find her, she refused directly. Hearing this, Fong Bailey's face suddenly froze.
You.
What nonsense are you talking about? Why would I ask you to prescribe medicine? With your level, the medicine you prescribe might poison someone to death. Fong Bailey would never admit to such a shameful thing even if he was beaten to death. Her son kept coughing. He went to the clinic several times, but he got better and then started coughing again. One after another, the child became listless. Later, she heard from other military wives privately that Lin Wanshu was very good at treating coughs. But she and Lin Wanshu had already had such a fight, and Fong Bailey couldn't let go of her pride. In the end, he could only find someone to secretly prescribe medicine for Lin Wanshu. Who would have thought that she would refuse? Fong Bailey had been angry for a week, and now she finally met Lin Wanshu, who was in trouble. How could she vent her anger if she didn't come out and step on her? The other military wives didn't believe her nonsense at all. I was wondering who is so vicious. It turns out it's you, Fong Bailey. No wonder Wanshu refused to prescribe medicine for you. It turns out she already knew you were this kind of person. Although Fong Bailey did not admit that she reported Lin Wanshu, everyone thought it must have been her who did it. Why else would she be so excited? The military wives all despised her behavior. We all live in the same housing estate. Who wouldn't be afraid if she stabs you in the back at any time? Fortunately, Wanshu didn't prescribe medicine for her. With her character, she might have just prescribed the medicine and then turn around to blackmail others. The military wives were talking to each other and directed their firepower directly at Fong Bailey. Mu Weiguang was originally thinking about how to explain this matter, but now the military wives didn't care about him at all. They all rushed towards Fong Bailey with curses and ridicules. He couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Several people in uniform subconsciously took a step back and didn't dare to get involved. Fong Bailey was still waiting for Mu Weiguang and the others to capture Lin Wanshu, but when he saw that they didn't move, he became anxious. Why don't you arrest her? She is practicing medicine illegally. However, as soon as she finished speaking, Qin Yan's cold voice came from the door. My wife did not practice medicine illegally. This is the certificate she issued at Wenshur Military Hospital. As he spoke, he took out a piece of paper with a stamp on it. Lin Wanshu didn't expect him to come so soon, and her heart suddenly warmed. As for Mu Weiguang, who was standing next to him, he had an indescribable strong sense of oppression since Qin Yan appeared, and he didn't even dare to breathe. Now seeing him handing him a piece of paper, he resisted the urge to wipe the sweat off his face and quickly reached out to take it. As soon as he took the paper, he saw the bright red mark in the lower right corner. Instantly, the sweat on his forehead dripped down. "Sorry, Comrade Lin Wanshu, we didn't investigate properly, and are sorry to bother you. Not only do they have special certificates, but they also don't charge for medical treatment. This is clearly a living bodhisattva, okay? How dare they investigate her?" When Fong Bailey heard Mu Weiguang's words, he was dumbfounded. How is it possible? Isn't she still doing internship? How can she have such a certificate? She's just an intern, and the hospital is so confident in letting her treat patients alone? Of course, the hospital agreed to prescribe the medicine for her, because she performed well. After these 2 or 3 months, who still doesn't know that she is an amazing medical skill? Military wives don't care about certificates or titles, they only care about the results. If the effect is good, it means they are great. Impossible, she's lying. How long has she been studying medicine? Even riding a rocket can't go that fast. Both internship and consultation are required, as well as issuing certificates. Could it be that she owns the hospital? Can she do whatever she wants? Qin Yan ignored her and called Mu Weiguang aside to talk. Mu Weiguang had experienced Qin Yan's powerful aura, so how could he say no? He followed him with some fear in his heart. Just at this time, Zhang Qingfeng also came. Hearing Fong Bailey's unconvinced words, he was speechless. Why not? My grandfather's medical skills are well known throughout the country. As his granddaughter, isn't it normal for her to be good at medicine? Heard that Lin Wanshu's grandfather was actually a famous miracle doctor. They were all shocked. No wonder she is so good at treating illnesses. Once you take action, it's basically just a matter of applying 1 or 2 doses of medicine. Tang Qian was so excited that her face turned red. "Wanshu, is your grandpa really that powerful? He's a miracle doctor." His granddaughter treated her father's leg? She felt as if she was walking on the road and suddenly a pie fell from the sky and hit her. In the past, she only had half hope for her father's leg, but now Tang Qian has completely believed that Lin Wanshu can definitely cure her father. "Wanshu, you are too low-key, aren't you? We didn't know your grandfather was a miracle doctor." She is such a great-grandfather, but she just said that her grandfather knows medicine. Knowing medical skills and being a miracle healer are totally different things, okay? Usually treats them without asking for anything in return. Thinking of this, the military wives were all deeply moved. Ever since Fong Bailey heard that Lin Wanshu's grandfather was actually a miracle doctor, his face turned pale, and he felt embarrassed and annoyed. Who would have thought? She usually doesn't show off her talents, but how could she have such a powerful grandfather? All rules can be broken in front of talented people. Not to mention that it was just a temporary certificate. Fong Bailey suspected that it would not be strange even if she wanted to get a medical license in advance. Not long after, Qin Yan and Mu Weiguang came back again. No one knows what they said in private. But when he came back, Mu Weiguang looked a little strange. He said sorry to Lin Wanshu several times before leading the others away. This report started inexplicably and ended in confusion. Originally wanted Lin Wanshu to be in trouble, ended up becoming the target of public criticism. Although she was not the one who reported it, in the eyes of the military wives, she has been completely equated with a despicable person. The military wives had already said all the scolding they needed to do, and Lin Wanshu was too lazy to argue with Fong Bailey. After thanking the military wives, she went straight home. "What did you say to that man just now?" After returning home, Lin Wanshu asked Qin Yan curiously. Qin Yan's eyes were still dark. After hearing Lin Wanshu's words, he lowered his eyes, paused, and then said, "I know who reported you." Hearing this, Lin Wanshu was a little surprised. He find out who was behind this so quickly? Who is it? It's Qi Honglian. Mentioned this name, his voice turned several degrees colder. Lin Wanshu. She didn't dig up her family's graves, did she? Why is she always making things difficult for me? She hasn't even come to settle accounts with her for the last time she added ingredients to the medicine powder. Qin Yan saw that she was angry, so he comforted her. Don't worry, she will be unable to jump up soon. Ever since Lin Wanshu told him about the medicinal powder last time, Qin Yan has been paying attention to Qi Honglian. Originally, he hadn't planned to take action against her so soon, but she insisted on courting death and came to plot against his wife. A piercing dark light flashed in Qin Yan's eyes. Lin Wanshu naturally had no doubts about her man's ability. Now that he said that, she would no longer worry about it. It's 12 o'clock noon now. The weather was cold, and Qin Yan got a clay basin from somewhere. There was a fire burning in the basin. A group of children, big and small, were warming themselves around a brazier. Above the brazier, and on the rack are 6 or 7 sweet potatoes, which are being roasted. The sweet potatoes are probably almost cooked now, and the unique aroma of roasted sweet potatoes fills the yard. Little Meow Meow stared at the sweet potatoes on the shelf with her round eyes, swallowing her saliva from time to time. Brother Shu, Xiaoping pointed at the shelf and turned to Shen Xi and said. Shen Xi took a stick and gently poked her sweet potato. Finding that it was not yet ripe, he comforted her. Not yet. Wait a little longer, it will be ready soon. Hearing this, Xiao Miao Miao was a little disappointed, but she still waited obediently by the side, not daring to get too close. Her mother had touched a hot cup with her hand before. She had a strong sense of safety and would not get too close to the brazier. But Shen Yu on the side couldn't wait any longer. I can't stand it anymore, I want to eat first. The roasted sweet potatoes smelled so good that he was drooling to the ground. After saying that, he picked up his wooden stick and was about to reach out to poke his sweet potato. However, before he could insert it, he was hit by Shen Xi with a stick. Wait a little longer. Shen Yu's eyebrows stood up after being beaten. Why should I listen to you? Said it lightly. If you don't agree, let's fight. Shen Yu. He have the nerve to bully the weak? Knowing that he couldn't beat Shen Xi, Shen Yu had to reluctantly take back his stick. Other children who were originally eager to try did not dare to use the sticks to poke their own sweet potatoes. Although they felt that it didn't need to be cooked too well to be eaten, Shen Xi wouldn't let them, so they had to hold it in no matter how greedy they were. Even Xiao Tingting now subconsciously obeys Shen Xi's command. There's nothing I can do, this guy is so sinister. She was no match for him. In this way, a group of children looked at the sweet potatoes eagerly, and only when Shen Xi gave his say would they dare to plant their own sweet potatoes. Lin Wanshu knew that Shen Xi was there, and she didn't have to worry about the children, so she went back to the kitchen to prepare the ingredients. The weather was cold and she was too lazy to cook, so she decided to grill some fish. Qin Yan brought back a big fish this morning, and he had just cleaned it. Now all you have to do is wash some side dishes and prepare the seasonings. But it was so cold that day that even the water was icy. Lin Wanshu put her hand into the water. She couldn't help but let out a hiss. Since winter, she has rarely used such cold water to wash things. Either Qin Yan washed it, or she would boil some hot water and wash it. It had been a long time since I had touched such cold water, and Lin Wanshu couldn't help but shudder. Qin Yan had just taken her certificate back into the house. When he entered the kitchen, he saw that his wife's hands were frozen red, and he immediately felt very distressed. Let me wash, and you go warm yourself by the fire. Hearing this, Lin Wanshu did not try to be stubborn and gave up her seat. Then you wash it, I'm going to grill the fish. Washing vegetables in this weather is simply a torture. Fortunately, the water in the river was warm, not as cold as the water in the water tank. Qin Yan also made her an iron rack for grilling fish. Lin Wanshu put the fish on the rack and took it outside. In the yard, the children's sweet potatoes have been roasted, and they are eating them happily. When Xiao Miao Miao saw her mother coming out, she happily held up the sweet potato she had peled in front of Lin Wanshu. Delicious. Hearing this, Lin Wanshu was immediately moved. Pretending to take a bite, she said to Xiao Miao Miao exaggeratedly, Wow, this sweet potato is so delicious.
Thank you, Meow Meow.
Xiao Miao Miao was very happy to be praised, and a bright smile appeared on her little face. Lin Wanshu moved the rack to the brazier. Next, take down the rack that was used to roast the sweet potatoes. The children saw that she wanted to grill fish. Their mouths almost opened into O shapes. Wan, is the grilled fish delicious? When Xiao Jianxi saw the grilled fish on the brazier, his face was full of eagerness to try it. Ever since his mother tricked him into making pancakes last time, he has now learned how to cook. From the moment he made his first dish, Feng Jianxi felt like he had opened up a new world. He didn't need Feng Feng to fool him at all. He ran to ask the military wives how to cook. When he saw Lin Wanshu grilling fish, he couldn't help but want to learn it. Was no way. The food his parents cooked was really terrible. What else could he do if he didn't have to be self-reliant? Lin Wanshu knew that he now had an extraordinary interest in cooking, so she was not reluctant to teach him. It's delicious. You'll know when I make it later. After hearing Lin Wanshu say that the grilled fish was delicious, the children all swallowed their saliva. Just at this moment, Yu Fongfong, who had just returned from town, heard that Lin Wanshu wanted to grill fish, and her eyes suddenly lit up. Wanwan, are you grilling? I just bought some goodies. How about we grill together? As she spoke, she raised the beef in her hand and said excitedly. On the side was SB Peshless. How could she have the nerve to go there and eat for free all day? Just as I was thinking this, Yu Fongfong grabbed my arm. Lao Feng, you want to eat roast beef too, right? Feng Yandong. In this era, cows are important production tools, and slaughtering cows privately will result in imprisonment. Generally, only those that are too old to move or too injured to survive will be killed and sold. Yu Fongfong also happened to meet him. It would have been impossible to buy these 2 kilograms of beef either earlier or later. In addition to beef, she also bought some beef bones. In the past, she would never have considered buying bones. But she had tasted the bone soup made by Lin Wanshu, so she bought some. There wasn't much beef, so the beef bones were packed directly into a large bag, but they were all cleaned out. Lin Wanshu hurriedly invited the 2 of them in. It's too cold. Come sit here and warm yourself by the fire. Although the iron plate was put up, it was still warm. Feng Yandong was embarrassed to come here for a free meal, but his wife insisted on pulling him in. Seeing that Qin Yan was not here, how could he have the nerve to sit here and warm himself by the fire? Finally, he took the beef and went to the kitchen on his own initiative. Lin Wanshu didn't care and handed the beef and bones directly to the 2 grown men to deal with. She just needs to be responsible for the seasoning. Yu Fongfong sat next to the brazier, warming herself by the fire while looking curiously at the fish on the shelf. The warm fire warmed her body, and she felt her frozen body come back to life. It's still more comfortable to warm yourself by the fire. I was wearing very warm clothes, but I was still shivering with cold. Especially when she was sitting on the back of the bicycle, the cold wind blew, and she almost died of cold. To be honest, she didn't even want to go to work that day. Lin Wanshu listened to her mumbling complaints and felt both angry and amused. You have work, but you still complain. Be careful if the other sisters-in-law hear you. They will beat you up. Who have jobs in the entire family compound. Who doesn't want to have an income. But she doesn't want to go to work. Isn't this asking for trouble? Yu Fongfong chuckled and didn't dare say anything else. Although she really didn't rely on this salary to make a living, she couldn't help but consider the feelings of other military wives.
Oh.
It would be great if everyone could find a job whenever they want to work. Yu Fongfong couldn't help but sigh. But she also knew in her heart that the country's industry was too backward and there were simply not so many jobs to offer. Lin Wanshu thought of the prosperous market after the reform and opening up. After a pause, she said, "There will be such a day. Our people are so hardworking. Sooner or later, we will be able to build our homeland." Just at this time, He Wenju also came over. Hearing what the 2 said, she couldn't help but be stunned. Although there is no war or unrest now. But compared with another country on the other side of the ocean, they are still too backward. It's so backward that it seems like it's not even from the same century. Building the country and boosting industry is urgent. Lin Wanshu saw her coming. She waved quickly. "Wenju, come quickly, we're going to grill fish today." He Wenju was holding a wind turbine in her hand. It turned out that Lin Wanshu had asked her to help with it, and it happened to be finished today, so she brought it to her to install. Qiu Tingting was sitting next to Lin Wanshu. When she saw He Wenju coming, she couldn't help but look up at her quietly. He Wenju pretended not to know and only joked with Lin Wanshu. Look, my timing is really perfect. How come I caught up with your grilled fish? It seems that I am destined to be blessed. After spending some time together, they have become very familiar with each other. Last week, He Wenju also cooked delicious food for them, so she didn't mind when Lin Wanshu invited her to eat grilled fish. Most importantly, Tingting is here. Although she was no longer as scared of her as she was at the beginning, she still didn't talk to her. In order to avoid herself, she was rarely at home during the day and was always outside playing with other children. On weekdays, He Wenju only dared to be nice to her in a subtle way and didn't dare to be too radical. After saying that, she took the motor to install it. Lin Wanshu wanted was relatively large, and its battery was also relatively large. One battery can power 2 or 3 light bulbs. However, the generator is large and a bit troublesome to install. Seeing this, Lin Wanshu hurriedly handed the grilled fish to Shenxiai, asked Feng Jianqi to help, and went to move a stool to help install the motor. Qiu Tingting hid behind Yu Fangfang and secretly stuck her head out to look at the two of them. But He Wenju was installing the motor seriously and attentively, as if she didn't notice she was here at all. Qiu Tingting couldn't help feeling a little disappointed. It was clearly her who pinched herself, so why didn't she come over and talk to her? Did she really not love her anymore? Qiu Tingting felt very aggrieved, and her eyes were a little red. But she was concerned about her reputation and was afraid of being seen, so she turned her head away quietly. Xiao Miao Miao, who was standing by, sensitively noticed that she was in a bad mood. After thinking about it, she reached into her pocket again. After finally taking out a few peanuts, she pulled at her clothes. Sister. When Qiu Tingting turned her head, she saw the peanuts lying in her small hand and was stunned. Xiao Miao Miao took her hand, then put the peanuts into her hand with a big smile on her face. Here, delicious. Seeing this, how could Qiu Tingting not know that she was comforting herself? Suddenly, her heart felt warm. Blinking her sore eyes, she said in an unsteady voice, "Thank you, sister. If you don't want it, I'll peel it for you to eat." She spent with her. The more guilty Qiu Tingting felt that she shouldn't have bullied her. She is so cute and caring. Xiao Miao Miao shook her head and clasped her hands together. Sister, eat. After thinking about it, he added another sentence. Happy. Being comforted by her like this, Qiu Tingting's eyes became redder. Forced a smile and paused before saying, "Okay, sister, eat it." "Thank you." Seeing that she finally accepted the peanuts, Xiao Miao Miao happily went back to look at her roasted sweet potatoes. This is the third motor He Wenju has installed, and practice makes perfect. Complex circuits are no problem for her, let alone simple assembly. The children all knew that she could perform magic. Not only can he make radios, he can also make generators. At this time, everyone gathered around the two of them to watch the fun, and asked all kinds of questions out of curiosity. He Wenju did not get impatient, and answered the children's questions one by one. Qiu Tingting was comforted. She was still not in a good mood. Seeing that He Wenju was so nice to other children but still didn't talk to her, she felt depressed. Finally, she stared at her with some resentment. She thought that if she didn't talk to her today, she would never forgive her. He Wenju finally heard her thoughts. Just when she was sulking, she suddenly heard He Wenju calling her. "Tingting, can you come over and help me?" Qiu Tingting didn't expect that she was really calling her, and she was a little slow to react for a moment. "Tingting?" He Wenju called out again tentatively, and the voice sounded as gentle as it could be. But Qiu Tingting, who was expecting He Wenju to pay attention to her just now, turned her head away awkwardly after hearing her calling her. Snort. An expression that showed he was still very angry. But when He Wenju saw her like this, she couldn't help but feel happy. With a pitiful expression on her face, she pleaded again. "I have encountered a difficult problem, and I need your help. Are you really unwilling to help me?" Hearing this, Qiu Tingting reluctantly turned her head. She raised her head somewhat proudly, paused, and then said, reluctantly, Okay then. After saying that, Chiu Tingting stood up suddenly, but just when she couldn't wait to run over, she thought of something and slowed down her pace. When He Wenju saw this, she became even more excited. But she still restrained herself and waited for her to come to her step by step. Lin Wanshu also knew the knot between the mother and daughter, and at this moment, she hoped that they could get better soon. Therefore, after Tingting came over, she hurriedly gave up her seat to her. Tingting, come here quickly. I don't know how to do this. I heard from your mother that you can install these. I'll leave them to you. To be praised, and her chest unconsciously straightened up. But she still remembered that she was still angry with He Wenju, and she suppressed the corners of her mouth again. Let me give it a try. The children saw Chiu Tingting also installing the motor. They all widened their eyes. Chiu Tingting, can you really do it? Someone asked in shock. Of course I'll tell you. Didn't she install a small one before? Besides the motor, she also made a lot of other things. Have you forgotten them? Hearing this, the children remembered the bunch of little gadgets that Chiu Tingting had made before the accident. Suddenly, everyone couldn't help but admire it. Chiu Tingting is really amazing. I wish I had her ability. She knows so much. She will definitely be a scientist when she grows up. Hearing their praise, Chiu Tingting could no longer suppress the pride in her heart. Even the corners of his lips curved up without him noticing when, under He Wenju's subtle guidance, she began to help install the windmill blades. Seeing that she finally stopped resisting her, He Wenju couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Because Chiu Tingting was seriously frightened, her original plan to return to Ning City was delayed. Wang Guifin has retired. Seeing her granddaughter like this, she did not go back and has been living in the staff quarters. While the mother and daughter were installing the wind turbine, Lin Wanshu went back to the brazier to grill fish. But before she could do anything, she saw Feng Jianxi grease the fish with oil in a very professional manner. Next to her was Yu Fongfong, flattering him for free. Son, you are getting better and better. Even grilling fish is not a problem for you. Won't your father and I be blessed in the future? Feng Jianxi glanced at her with disdain. Don't think I don't know that you want to trick me into making grilled fish for you. Don't you see how old I am? Was so overwhelmed by her praise last time, but now he has learned his lesson and is not so easily fooled. It's because you're young that you seem so good. Look at all the children in our family compound. Is there anyone better than you? You can cook so many dishes at such a young age. Yu Fongfong continued to praise without feeling guilty at all. Originally had a look of disdain on his face, soon became flattered by the mother's flattery. Okay, I'll study hard and bake it for you next time. Lin Wanshu. Well, this is falling into the pit again. Yu Fongfong was not ashamed but proud of it, and asked Lin Wanshu to teach Feng Jianxi well. Son, do you want me to go home and get a notebook to help you write down the steps? Worried that he had not learned it thoroughly enough, Yu Fongfong asked seriously. But Feng Jianxi rolled his eyes in return. I don't need that. He will understand it after reading it once. After hearing this, Yu Fongfong naturally started praising him highly again. Lin Wanshu. Looking at this funny mother and son, she couldn't help but shake her head and laugh. Seeing that Feng Jianxi had grilled the meat very well, she went back to the kitchen to prepare the sauce. Seeing her return to the kitchen, Yu Fongfong asked Shen Xiai to help watch the fire and followed her in. After all, Lin Wanshu had to go to Yin City again in the afternoon. She hasn't even said a few words to her yet. It's nothing unusual for her son, who she sees every day. The two of them entered the kitchen one after the other and saw that Qin Yan had already washed and cut all the side dishes. Feng Jianxi was chopping bones on the side. He was indeed a soldier, very strong, and could cut a big bone into pieces with just one stroke of his sword. Neither of them is talkative, and their conversation was haphazard. Yu Fongfong. She suspected that if they didn't come in, the two of them would end up talking to death. Sure enough, with the addition of two women, the atmosphere in the kitchen became relaxed. Lin Wanshu told Qin Yan to put the washed and cut side dishes on a plate and then went to prepare the sauce. When Yu Fongfong saw that she wanted to use the pot, she helped her light the fire without saying a word. Next time I go back to Beijing, my grandfather will be shocked. She is now quite skilled at making fire.
Yu Fangfang said proudly.
Isn't it? Even I was surprised. You are becoming more and more capable now. Lin Wanshu also praised him generously. She still can't cook or wash clothes. She has now learned how to make fire and grow vegetables. She planted a lot of tomatoes in the triangular piece of land. Each one was juicy and looked very pleasing to the eye. Hee, it's just SOSO. I'm not that good. After being praised, Yu Fangfang was a little embarrassed and said modestly. Had never seen his wife being so humble. Unable to help himself, he glanced at her, as if he wanted to confirm whether her core had been replaced. Yu Fangfang happened to see his gaze and was immediately speechless. What does that mean? Is she a shameless person? Snort. She made a face at him, then looked away and went back to light the fire seriously. Feng Yandong. The pot was quickly heated up, and Lin Wanshu put a large piece of lard into the pot. Next, put the spices prepared in advance into the pot. The spices emitted a strong aroma while frying in the oil, which attracted the attention of the children in the yard. What smells so good? It's coming from a kitchen. Could it be the smell of beef? When they heard it was beef, the kids no longer cared about wind turbines. He ran straight to the kitchen, and even Xiao Miao Miao followed him. Suddenly, there were only 4 people left in the yard. On one side were Shin Xiai and Feng Jianxi, who were grilling fish, and on the other side were Hu Wenju and her daughter. The children ran away. The two of them stared at each other, feeling inexplicably awkward. Snort. Tingting's mouth was puffed up, and it was obvious that she was still very angry. But when Hu Wenju saw it, she couldn't help feeling a pang of sadness in her heart. This is the child she gave birth to in excruciating pain. How could she resist trying to comfort her for so long? Thinking of this, Hu Wenju could no longer restrain herself and reached out to hold her in her arms.
Tink Tink, I'm sorry.
I was wrong before. I will never treat you like that again. Can you forgive me? Although she didn't do it in Xiao Tingting's eyes, she and Tong Xiangxiao are the same person. The damage had been done, and she had to make amends. Xiao Tingting didn't expect that she would suddenly apologize and hug herself. She was stunned, as if she couldn't react to what was happening. When she smelled the faint fragrance, her eyes suddenly became red for some reason. Xiao Tingting didn't say anything, just leaned quietly in her arms. Wenju became more and more excited.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Kept saying sorry and held her tightly in her arms, as if she was holding a lost treasure. I don't know how long it took, but just when Hu Wenju thought she wouldn't respond to me, 2 thin hands quietly hugged her waist. You can't pinch me like you did last time, Xiao Tingting said in a low voice. Hu Wenju felt a growing pain in her heart. No, it won't happen again. Don't be afraid. She couldn't love her enough. This is the child she gave birth to at great pains. Hu Wenju's love is so passionate. How could Xiao Tingting not feel it? Suddenly, all the fear in her heart disappeared. Her hands unconsciously tightened a little. After thinking for a while, she said, If you still want to pinch me, can you be gentler? She was afraid that she wouldn't be able to hold on, and she would never see her again. Hearing this, Hu Wenju's heart was broken. Silly child. How could she possibly hurt her? She would rather be the one being strangled. Mom has asked Aunt Wanshu to prescribe some medicine. You know she is a very good doctor, right? After taking the medicine she prescribes, Mom will never get sick again. This is, of course, a white lie. Hu Wenju did ask Lin Wanshu for prescription medicine, but it was only for regulating menstruation. I don't know if it's because of the switching of souls and bodies, but her menstruation has been irregular for the past 2 months. Then she asked Lin Wanshu to adjust it for her. But Xiao Tingting believed her words without a doubt. She was relieved to hear that she would never have an attack again. Then, Mom, you have to take your medicine on time. She hopes she will always be as good as she is now. Not only did he make his grandmother very happy, but he also never quarreled with his father. Xiao Tingting, who used to be extremely afraid of her grandmother, now dares to talk to her, because Grandma smiled more often and looked less fierce. Okay, Mommy makes a pinky promise with you. Hu Wenju had finally restored her relationship with her daughter, so naturally she agreed to whatever she said. The two of them stretched out their little fingers and hooked them. Seeing that they had finally reconciled, Lin Wanshu couldn't help but feel happy for the mother and daughter. During this period of time, she had seen He Wenju's overt and covert concern for Qiu Tingting, and she felt anxious. It's a great thing that the mother and daughter can reconcile now. Yu Fangfang was like a follower. When Lin Wanshu came out, she followed him out too. Lin Wanshu took the almost baked fish into the kitchen, and Yu Fangfang followed her in. Not only did she go in, but Feng Jianxi followed her. Don't worry, son. Although you didn't see how Aunt Wanwan made the sauce just now, I saw it, and I will teach you. Feng Jianxi. Why does he feel unreliable? Don't lead him into the ditch later. I'd better learn from my aunt. Yu Fangfang. Lin Wanshu put the grilled fish on an iron plate and poured the sauce on it. In an instant, the whole kitchen was filled with a delicious smell. The children looked at Feng Jianxi, who was watching from a close distance, and were all filled with envy. Lin Wanshu didn't let them wait any longer and reached out to pick up the iron plate, but was stopped by Qin Yan. I'll carry it. Be careful not to burn yourself. Hearing this, Lin Wanshu quickly stepped aside and let him take it. Has been set up in the yard. Lin Wanshu lit the charcoal that had been put in earlier, then asked Qin Yan to put the grilled fish on it, and then covered it with a lid. The children were disappointed to see that the delicious grilled fish was covered up. Lin Wanshu comforted them. We'll be ready to eat in a few more minutes. Let's go warm up by the fire first. Fortunately, the children were obedient. Although they were not very willing, they all went back to the brazier to warm themselves by the fire. Since they couldn't see the grilled fish, they could only continue to grill their sweet potatoes. Shen Xiai was helping to watch the grilled fish while also busy roasting sweet potatoes. At this time, Xiao Miao came back and he put the roasted sweet potatoes in front of her. Shen Yu. Insidious. So insidious. Secretly roasted sweet potatoes for her sister while he was away. Xiao Miao was very happy when she saw the roasted sweet potatoes. Sister, I can also bake sweet potatoes. Can I help you bake one later? Anyway, he can't be outdone. Whatever Shen Xiai can do, he must be able to do too. Xiao Miao smiled with her eyes curved, and she didn't understand what rejection meant at all. When she heard that Shen Yu also wanted to help her roast sweet potatoes, she clapped her hands happily. Baked potato, seeing that his sister wanted to roast sweet potatoes by herself, Shen Yu immediately became interested. Roll up your sleeves and start grilling. Shen Xiai ignored him and waited until the sweet potatoes cooled down a little before peeling them and feeding them to Xiao Miao. After eating 2 sweet potatoes in a row, Xiao Miao was so full that she couldn't eat anymore. After Shen Yu finished roasting, she couldn't eat anymore. Shen Yu's face suddenly fell. Sister, you are biased. He couldn't help but accuse. Why is it always like this? My brother has to give me all the food and toys, so why doesn't he want them when it's his turn? Shen Yu felt very depressed when he thought about Jianxiang, Zuehua, and Xiaowei, who were not sent away from home. Xiao Miao didn't understand his accusations. She saw that Shen Yu was unhappy. After thinking for a while, he took out a few peanuts from his pocket and handed them to him. Brother here. When Shen Yu saw her feeding him peanuts, he immediately felt that he was okay again. He happily took the peanuts and gave Shen Xiai a smug look.
Shenqi.
Virtue. The grilled fish was soon ready as everyone was eagerly waiting. After a while, Qin Yan and Feng Yandong also came out. The grill is detachable. Qin Yan simply took down the rack and brought it to the table along with the grilled fish. Planned to eat it while grilling. Lin Wanshu opened the lid, and instantly, a rich fragrance hit her nose. The children couldn't help but exclaimed, "Wow," in unison. It smells so good. And Wanshu, can we eat now? Amid the chatter of the crowd, Lin Wanshu gave each child a set of bowls and chopsticks. Then, with a shout of, "Let's eat," the children couldn't help but cheer. Xiao Miao was short and couldn't reach the fruits at all. When she smelled the fragrant smell, she became anxious. Lin Wanshu smiled and comforted her, picked up a piece of fish for Xiao Miao, carefully picked out the bones on it, and put it in her bowl. Be careful, it's hot. After saying that, she was about to pick up a piece for herself, but she found a piece of fish with the bones removed in her bowl. Glancing at the hand that the man next to her had just withdrawn, Lin Wanshu curled her lips. You eat too. Good. On the other side, Feng Yandong also picked up a fish eye and put it in Yu Fangfang's bowl. Yu Fangfang. There is also a fish eye. Feng Yandong was a little speechless, but he still helped her to clip out the other fish eye. He Wenju. Why do I feel full even though I haven't eaten yet? Eating the grilled fish and drinking a bowl of beef bone soup, He Wenju went home with Qiu Tingting. After the meal just now, the two have returned to the intimacy they had before the accident. He Wenju held her hand, all the way. Qiu Tingting also chattered and asked all kinds of questions. Why is the breath we exhale white in winter? Why do my hair fly up when I comb it? He Wenju did not show any impatience and answered all the small questions she raised one by one. Hearing that these were physical phenomena, Qiu Tingting's eyes were full of amazement, and she felt that the world was so wonderful. If Tingting likes it, Mom will find a book for you next time I go to the county town, okay? Hearing this, Qiu Tingting's eyes lit up. Can I come with you? Sure. If she was willing to go with her. Seeing that she was willing to take her, Qiu Tingting was overjoyed. Then it settled. The mother and daughter were talking affectionately when they happened to run into Qiu Yong, who was going out to look for them. To see that the mother and daughter, who had been silent in the morning, finally spoke.
Dad.
Qiu Tingting felt extremely happy today, and her voice when she called out to people was clear and loud. Qiu Yong almost didn't react. Is this still the girl he knew?
Why?
When he came to his senses, he quickly responded. After Qiu Tingting called everyone, she skipped and jumped towards the yard. Familiar yet unfamiliar couple left at the door, staring at each other in silence. The army was busy a while ago, and Qiu Yong only occasionally went back to the military compound to have a quick meal and then left. He even slept directly in the barracks at night. The two were not familiar with each other to begin with, and since they hardly communicated properly, they became even more strangers. He Wenju didn't know what to say to him. It was Qiu Yong who broke the silence first.
Where?
Did you go just now? I'm going to Wanshu's house to install a motor for her. Although they are husband and wife now, they are actually no different from strangers. Thinking of what she had just heard at Lin Wanshu's house, He Wenju paused and continued. Tingting is fine now. I plan to go back to Ning City to work. After all, this is a border area. Even if she has a lot of knowledge, she has no place to display it. Hearing her bring it up again, Qiu Yong paused for a moment.
Why?
Did she really not want to stay here? Or did she really want to leave him? He Wenju looked at him apologetically and said, I want to work, but there are no suitable jobs here. For He Wenju, although family is important, building the country is more important. After all, wasn't this the reason she came all the way back from the United States? Hearing this, Qiu Yong also thought of her identity as a returned overseas student in her previous life. It would be a great injustice for such a talent to stay here. But going back means that they may still be a pair of strangers like they are now in 5 or 10 years. This is not the result Qiu Yong wanted. Zhu, wait a little longer. Don't rush back. There is a machinery factory in Wen City. Let me see if there are any jobs available. With her abilities, it would be perfect for her to work in a machinery factory. Although the machinery factory is in the city, it is better than going back to Ning City. I can go and see her when I have time. Just like Qin Yan and Lin Wanshu, it would be good to see each other every week. When He Wenju heard that there was a machinery factory in Wen City, his eyes lit up. Really? Then I'll go to Wen City tomorrow to have a look. Seeing that she was interested, Qiu Yong breathed a sigh of relief. Yes, it's true. It's only 200 or 300 meters away from Wenshur Military Hospital. It will be convenient for you to go find Comrade Xiaolin. In order to entice her to stay, Qiu Yong did not hesitate to involve Lin Wanshu. Sure enough, when He Wenju heard that the machinery factory was only 200 or 300 meters away from the hospital, she became even more excited. Then I'll go take the bus with Wanshu this afternoon. Lin Wanshu lives in a single dormitory, and she should agree to squeeze in with her for a night. Qiu Yong. Resisting the urge to rub his forehead, he persuaded calmly. Don't worry, we can go slowly tomorrow. After all, Comrade Xiaolin still has to see patients tomorrow, and it would be bad for us to disturb him. After hearing this, He Wenju reluctantly gave up the idea. Although she felt that Lin Wanshu would not mind, she was indeed very busy at work during the day, so she should not go over to disturb her. Okay then. I'll take the bus there tomorrow morning. Hearing this, Chiu Yong breathed a sigh of relief. Wang Guifan saw them whispering at the door, and she didn't know what they were talking about, so she couldn't help but frown. Why don't you talk about it when you get home? What's the point of whispering at the door? He Wenju has already figured out Wang Guifan's temper. He has a sharp tongue but a soft heart, and is very concerned about his reputation. I am most afraid of being gossiped about. Therefore, when she saw her stern face, she was not afraid, but walked forward with a smile. Mom, we were just discussing getting some dried mushrooms from our fellow villagers and bringing them back for Dad to try. Yunnan province is rich in mushrooms, of many varieties and delicious taste. Wang Guifan rarely comes here, so naturally, she has to bring back some local specialties. Hearing this, Wang Guifan's stern face finally looked a little better. Why bother collecting them? Let us just pick up some, and don't waste money. For people of this generation, thriftiness is ingrained in their bones. Even though Wang Guifan has some savings and a pension, she is reluctant to spend money lavishly. Mom, we can't just pick up random mushrooms. If we pick up mushrooms we don't recognize, something bad could happen if we eat them. It's better to buy from a fellow villager to be safe. I don't want much money. After all, they have lived here for generations, so they must know a little more than them. After hearing this, Wang Guifan didn't say anything else. Just felt very comforted that her daughter-in-law always thought of her and her husband's behavior. The mother-in-law and daughter-in-law walked home hand in hand. Chiu Yong felt warm in his heart when he saw that He Wenju had coaxed his mother into submission with just a few words. There is no man who doesn't want his mother and wife to live in harmony. Tong Xiangxia was here. He received complaints from people every now and then, and his head was about to explode. Now, I see that she can easily handle the relationship between mother-in-law and daughter-in-law, as well as the relationship in the family compound. If he said he was unhappy, that would be a lie. After a pause, Chiu Yong followed in a good mood. On the other side, Chi Honglian was in an office at the moment, waiting for Lin Wanshu's good news. Don't worry, as long as what you said is true, I will definitely make her pay for it. Next to her, a middle-aged man in a mouse suit approached her with a smile. Chi Honglian frowned slightly. But she didn't know what she thought of, and she endured it again. Of course what I said is true. She hasn't even finished her internship yet, but she's already treating patients in the family compound without permission, and she's also practicing feudal superstition. Chi Honglian didn't care whether it worked or not. Whatever she said was wrong. When Sun Qingping saw that she did not resist, a gleam of excitement flashed in his eyes. Then, as if accidentally, his hand touched her hand on the table. Hiss. So tender and smooth. As expected, you are from Beijing. No wonder that person specifically asked him to take care of it. When her hand was touched by an ugly old man who could be her father. If it were in the past, she would have turned hostile long ago. But when she thought about the fact that she couldn't get through to Beijing by phone during this period of time, and even the letters she wrote fell into the sea, Chi Honglian had no choice but to endure it. But her patience resulted in Sun Qingping becoming more and more demanding. Seeing that she didn't resist, he simply covered her hand with his entire hand. Honglian, what you said are just trivial matters. Even if she doesn't believe in feudal superstition, I still have ways to deal with her. Isn't she just the wife of a battalion commander? He didn't even take her seriously. His hint was so obvious, how could Chi Honglian not understand? But being clear is one thing, being able to accept it is another. She is from Beijing. How could she possibly be interested in a hideous guy like him? Deputy Director's son, I remember now that I have something else to do in Lan County. I'll come see you next time. Having said that, she stood up and was about to leave. Sun Qingping's face suddenly darkened. If you leave this door today, I can't guarantee what will happen next. He narrowed his eyes and looked at her back, and said in a lazy voice. Hearing this, Chi Honglian stopped reflexively.
What?
What do you mean? Sun Qingping smiled again and walked towards her slowly. The closer I got, the more I felt that her skin was much better than the women here. There is still a scent of vanishing cream on her body. Sun Qingping took a deep breath and then said contentedly, "You let me take such a big risk to investigate a battalion commander's wife. You have to give me some sweet taste, right?" As he spoke, his hands climbed restlessly up her waist.
Besides,
The people in Jing City who can protect you are now in trouble themselves. Don't you really want to make plans for yourself? The breath mixed with the smell of tobacco and stomach upset was nauseating, but Qi Honglian no longer cared. When she heard his words, her eyes suddenly widened and the blood in her body turned cold.
what did you say?
Where did you get this information? Qi Honglian turned around and stared into his eyes, as if trying to find any clues that he was lying. Sun Qingping didn't care and continued to smile. "If you don't believe me, you can call someone else to ask if I'm lying to you. Something has happened to your lover in Beijing." After saying this, he unceremoniously hugged her in his arms. Qi Honglian's hands and feet were cold, and her whole body was shaking uncontrollably, so how could she have the time to push him away? Sun Qingping was well aware of this, and from the day she entered his office, she was his. Now he is just reaping the fruits of his labor. Some threats and coaxing, the panic-stricken Qi Honglian was pushed down on the empty table by him.
He.
"My little beauty, just be obedient and you will get the benefits." Qi Honglian stared with her blank eyes at the ugly man in front of her, who was looking her up and down with lustful eyes. Finally, she seemed to have accepted her fate and turned her head away. She did nothing wrong, she just wanted to gain a foothold. Sleeping with one person is sleeping, and sleeping with two people is also sleeping, right? As long as no one finds out, she is innocent. Qi Honglian silently endured the disgusting old man while comforting herself with self-deception. I don't know how long it was, but when he finally stopped, there was a knock on the door. When she heard the voice, Sun Qingping had just captured the man and was very excited about the situation, so he was happy to coax her. "Don't be afraid. Go in there and put on your clothes. I'll see who it is." He picked up her clothes and stuffed them into her, then led her into the small office inside. Sun Qingping straightened his clothes again, cleared his throat, and asked, "Come in." The door creaked open, and an indescribable smell wafted out. With experience, knows what happened. But Mu Weiguang seemed to be used to it. He didn't even turn his eyes and answered in a serious tone, "Director Sun, the investigation found no violations." Hearing this, Qi Honglian, who had just hurriedly put on her clothes, screamed, "How can there be no violations? You are lying. If she hadn't violated any rules, then what was the point of my patience just now?" Hearing that familiar voice, a flash of understanding flashed across Mu Weiguang's eyes. It's indeed her. Just as I was thinking this, I saw Qi Honglian coming out of the small office. Her hair was a little messy, her cheeks were flushed, and the buttons of her clothes were buttoned in a mess. Anyone with eyesight can guess what she just did. When Sun Qingping saw that she ran out without caring about her image, his face suddenly turned dark. "Comrade Qi, what's wrong with you? As a doctor, I asked you to examine my body. How did you get yourself into this state?" There were people present, so he pretended to be as serious as possible and simply ignored Qi Honglian. It was as if the pervert just now was not him. His words also made Qi Honglian suspected of seducing the deputy director of the cabinet committee. Qi Honglian had just slept with him and didn't get any benefits from him. Even the matter of getting her into the military hospital as he promised last time had not been fulfilled, but she was accused of such a crime. He almost broke his teeth. But she didn't care about all this and just stared at Mu Weiguang. "Tell me what happened. How come she didn't violate any rules?" Mu Weiguang couldn't help but sneer in his heart. Rules? Her behavior is morally corrupt at the least, and a power-hungry trade at the worst. But he knew that he was not even worth a penny and could not control such things at all. Lowering his eyes, Mu Weiguang told in a calm voice what had just happened in the staff quarters. When she heard that Lin Wanshu had actually asked the hospital to issue a certificate in advance. How is that possible? She's just an intern. How could the hospital agree to issue her a certificate? Qi Honglian said in disbelief. Mu Weiguang ignored her and finished his report. After seeing Sun Qingping's look, he quietly stepped away. Sun Qingping looked at Qi Honglian, who was about to cry, and thought she was such a fool. But he still said with a look of pity, "I told you, we can't rush this matter. We have to find her more fatal handle and try to hit her in one go, so that she can't make any trouble." After hearing this, Qi Honglian, who originally hated and despised Sun Qingping, was quickly controlled again. "Do you have any other ideas?" Originally, she just wanted to see Lin Wanshu in trouble, but now she has even given her body to this old man. If Lin Wanshu doesn't suffer any loss, then wouldn't her sacrifice be in vain? "No, I'm already dirty. How can she live so carefree?" Sun Qingping took in her expression, in his eyes, and he hooked his finger at her. "Of course, come here, and I'll tell you." Looking at his expression, Qi Honglian knew what he was thinking. But maybe it was because she had lowered her bottom line. This time, she didn't refuse. Lin Wanshu didn't know that she was being targeted again. After the holiday, she returned to her work in the hospital. There is a minor operation today, and she needs to perform it independently. This was Lin Wanshu's first time performing surgery on a real person, but she was not nervous. Although she was the one performing the operation, Shisume would still watch from the side. In addition to her, Meng Yuanshuang, Tan Hongmei, and Zhou Xinshu were also there. They still come here to learn. Although they believed that her skills were definitely fine, the three of them still breathed a sigh of relief. He stared at her nervously the whole time. Even the battle-hardened Shisume looked a little nervous. Lin Wanshu was the calmest one. Not only was her breathing and heartbeat steady, but even her hands were as steady as if they were emotionless machines. "I had an appendectomy today." This was not difficult at all for Lin Wanshu. As everyone watched with bated breath, she calmly performed the operation, found the appendix, tied a ligature at the base of the appendix with silk thread, and then removed the appendix. After removing it, she sutured the patient's wound again with thin thread. It looks simple, but if you don't operate it properly, it will be no joke. After Lin Wanshu sutured the wound and gave instructions to the patient's family, Shisume smiled and praised her. "Good, you are so stable in your first surgery, keep it up." Being praised, Lin Wanshu's eyes curved and she said with some excitement, "Thank you, teacher. I will continue to work hard." In the hospital, Lin Wanshu still called her teacher instead of Ansher, afraid of causing bad influence. Behind her, Meng Yuanshuang looked at Lin Wanshu, who was being praised repeatedly, and felt inexplicably uncomfortable. Why do some people have such a successful career and family? But this thought flashed through her mind, and she suppressed it firmly. She retracted her gaze, not daring to look at the frank girl. "But there is still an indescribable bitterness in my heart." Lin Wanshu didn't notice anything unusual about Meng Yuanshuang. After the operation, it was already time to get off work at noon. She was just about to pack up and go to the cafeteria to eat when she saw a head popping out of the door. "Wanshu." Lin Wanshu turned around and saw He Wenju and almost dropped her jaw in shock. "Wenju, why are you here?" Without bothering to pack her things, she walked forward with some surprise. Only after he held her hand did she realize that she was not dreaming. "I'll tell you later."
I am starving.
"Do you have food in the cafeteria?" For the bus in the morning, and only had time to eat a bun. She was extremely hungry now. "Of course, there seems to be braised pork today. We have to go early." Braised pork is only available on Mondays and not at other times. "What are we waiting for? Let's go." He Wenju was originally a quiet person, but after playing with Yu Fongfong for a long time, she became a lot more lively. "Wait, let me talk to the teacher." Lin Wanshu eats with Shisume almost every day, and she is currently waiting for her in the clinic. "Okay, go ahead." When Shisume heard that Lin Wanshu's military wife friend had come, she tactfully did not disturb them and let the two of them eat by themselves. The two of them walked together to the window of the hospital cafeteria staff. Already quite a few people queuing in front of the window. When they saw Lin Wanshu, they all greeted her. "Great, Wanshu, you actually know so many people." He Wenju was shocked at how popular she was. After hearing her say this, Lin Wanshu suddenly realized that there were many people who greeted her whose names she couldn't remember. It turned out that without her knowing, her fame had spread throughout the hospital. Now everyone in the entire military hospital knows that this intern is not only good-looking but also has excellent medical skills. 2 of the patients she cured were directly studied as typical cases. Lin Wanshu is absorbed in study and work every day and doesn't pay too much attention to other things. The auntie who served the food was very fast, and it was their turn in a short while. Lin Wanshu is an employee and doesn't have to pay for meals. However, Hyunju came from outside, so she needed food coupons and meat coupons. Lin Wanshu was about to take the ticket out of her pocket when she was stopped by Hyunju. "I can do it myself." As she spoke, she took out a handful of food coupons and meat coupons from her pocket. Lin Wanshu was a little surprised. "Why did you bring so many tickets with you?" Hearing this, Hyunju blushed slightly. Given by the regiment commander. Got in the car, he stuffed a wad of money and bills into her pocket, saying that he was worried that she would have no money to spend when she was away from home. Seeing that she blushed even though she was speaking politely, Lin Wanshu had a sly smile on her face. When they were leaving the window, she leaned over to whisper teasingly in her ear. "It seems that someone had a good night's sleep last night. Look at this little face. It's so rosy." Being teased, Hyunju's face turned even redder, especially when she thought of the man's shamelessness and domineering behavior last night. She felt extremely ashamed. But even though she was blushing, she was also very skillful in speaking and quickly fought back. "Without someone's nourishment, a whole day has passed, and I am still so hydrated." As she spoke, she glanced at Lin Wanshu's rosy face. This time, the person who blushed became Lin Wanshu. How could she dare to say that she and Qin Yan had fooled around in the space last night? If it weren't for the fact that she had to go to work, that person would definitely not let her go so easily. Not daring to hurt each other anymore, she had to change the subject. "Why are you in Wind City today?" Hyunju had already placed the lunchbox on the table. After asking Lin Wanshu to sit down, she said, "I came to the machinery factory to try my luck and see if I can find a job." Lin Wanshu was a little surprised to hear that she was looking for a job. So what? With her ability, she will definitely be able to pass the exam as long as there is a position. It just takes a chance. Hyunju was extremely hungry, but she still maintained her good manners and did not start eating immediately. "There are no positions, but when I went there, they had an imported machine that broke down and no one knew how to fix it. I fixed it, and they let me go to work tomorrow." Hearing this, Lin Wanshu was very happy for her. "That's great. You can work in a machinery factory in the future." Although she felt that the machinery factory was a bit of a waste of her talents. However, compared to working in a textile factory, the machinery factory was obviously more suitable for her. Hyunju was also very satisfied with the job she found. After chatting for a few more sentences, the two began to eat. But before Lin Wanshu could take a few bites, suddenly, a sharp voice came from behind her. "She was the one who damaged my husband's legs. Poor me, I still have 5 kids to take care of. There's no hope for him now." Lin Wanshu turned around and saw that it was the family member of the man whose leg had necrotized last time. His name was Yang Donghua. I saw her with 3 or 4 people, walking towards me aggressively. Where was the grateful look on her face from before? Seeing that the person coming had ill intentions, Lin Wanshu stood up and became secretly alert. Hyunju didn't even bother to eat and stood directly beside Lin Wanshu, looking like she was going to help her without any fear at all. In the cafeteria, seeing that something was wrong, they all put down their chopsticks and stood up. "You're Lin Wanshu, right?" A sturdy man in a tattered cotton coat looked at Lin Wanshu with eyes wide open. "I'm Lin Wanshu. What can I do for you?" Lin Wanshu asked calmly. "You've ruined my cousin's legs. Now, he can't walk. Why should I look for you?" The burly man's voice was so rough that it hurt people's eardrums. Hearing this, how could Lin Wanshu not know that she had run into a medical dispute? Pursing her lips, she turned her gaze to Yang Donghua. "You said your husband's legs were broken? But I remember that he was able to walk with crutches when he was discharged from the hospital." His legs had not recovered well when he was discharged from the hospital, so Lin Wanshu suggested that he stay in the hospital for another week. However, they were afraid of spending money and insisted on being discharged from the hospital. In the end, there was no other choice but Lin Wanshu to prescribe the 2 pills for her, asking them to take them home and to come back for a follow-up checkup on time. It was not known whether these 2 people wanted to save money or for some other reason, but they never came to the hospital again after they returned. Now, seeing Yang Donghua coming to cause trouble, Lin Wanshu's face looked a little bad. Hearing this, Yang Donghua, who was originally aggressive, looked a little evasive. The so-called cousin stood in front of Yang Donghua and said in an angry tone, "My cousin was able to walk back home by himself, but after taking the medicine you gave him, he can't stand up now. How do you think we can solve this problem?" Lin Wanshu glanced back and forth between the 2 of them, knowing that this matter was not that simple. "If that's the case, then bring him to the hospital, and I'll see what's going on. You've crippled my cousin's legs. How can I dare bring him here to see you?" The sturdy man crossed his arms over his chest, looking as if he didn't trust her at all. After hearing this, Lin Wanshu became more and more certain that they came here on purpose to cause trouble. "You don't have to examine me. Just send him to the hospital and let other doctors take a look at the situation," she still argued calmly. He Wenju on the side was also staring closely at the burly man in front of her. He planned to pull Lin Wanshu away immediately if anything went wrong. Yang Donghua was originally hiding behind the burly man without saying a word, but she stood up again after being pushed by someone.
I
don't trust you. You are all from the same hospital, so you must be in the same group." At the end of her speech, she straightened her chest again and glared at Lin Wanshu fiercely. And just at this moment, Lu Guoyang also came. Understanding the whole story, he looked at Yang Donghua with some sorrow. "Your husband's legs were already necrotic. If it weren't for Comrade Lin, his legs would have been amputated long ago. We asked you to stay in the hospital for a few more days, but you didn't listen. Now that you've gone back and something's happened, you're causing trouble again. Do you still have a conscience?" After hearing this, the crowd finally understood what was going on. So the man whose leg was necrotic and was saved by Comrade Lin was her man? She saved her husband's leg, but she didn't follow the doctor's advice. When something happened, she just wanted to cause trouble. She's not afraid of retribution. Everyone was talking about it. His eyes were full of contempt. Yang Donghua saw that the situation was not right, and the momentum she had finally regained suddenly became weak again. The strong man was obviously not an ordinary person and did not take these discussions seriously. He also winked at Yang Donghua. When Yang Donghua saw his eyes, she shuddered reflexively. Then she gritted her teeth, sat down on the ground, and slapped her thighs and cried, "Oh my God, why is my life so miserable? My husband's legs were crippled by an intern, and I have 5 children to take care of at home. Now there is no hope. How am I going to live?" Seeing that she couldn't argue, she started to throw a tantrum. Everyone present looked very unhappy. Lu Guoyang was even more angry and furious at her rogue behavior. If beating someone was not illegal, he would have beaten them by now. This is outrageous. Lin Wanshu watched her howl quietly, and after she howled for a while, she spoke coldly. "Call the police, and have your man go to the police station for an on-site medical examination. This is my fault, and I will take responsibility." Hearing this, the woman's howling paused for a moment, and then howled even louder. "Don't think I don't know that your husband is an officer and you are powerful. We are just ordinary people. How can we fight against you? God, please open your eyes. Our family is going to be forced to have no way to survive." Seeing her crying with tears and snot, Lin Wanshu felt no emotion at all and even wanted to laugh. Just then, a group of 7 or 8 soldiers, surrounding a middle-aged man who was also in military uniform, walked into the cafeteria door. Lin Wanshu saw the shoulder straps of the middle-aged officer at a glance. He was actually a corps commander. Following him was obviously the director of their hospital, Ma Guoqiang. Behind the dean is Shi Sumei. A group of soldiers came in. The originally noisy cafeteria suddenly became silent. Yang Donghua looked at the group of people in military uniforms and couldn't help but shrink her neck. Shirsume looked around the crowd, and when she saw the people in front of Lin Wanshu who were obviously looking for trouble, she couldn't help but frown. Ma Guiqiang also saw Yang Donghua sitting on the ground and the people with ugly faces, and his heart suddenly skipped a beat. Without waiting for the commander to speak, he walked forward quickly. What's going on? Why are they all stuck here? Ma Guiqiang asked this, but his eyes were looking straight at Lu Guoliang. Dean, these people are here to cause trouble on purpose. As he spoke, he told Ma Guiqiang the whole story. Just at this moment, Army Commander Guo Jian also came over. Since this fellow villager's husband has a problem with his legs, you should help her take him to the hospital for a thorough examination and treatment. As he said this, he looked at Yang Donghua with a smile again. Don't worry, fellow villager. The military hospital has many excellent orthopedic doctors who can definitely help heal your husband's leg. Hearing this, Yang Donghua's face suddenly turned pale, and his whole body began to tremble uncontrollably. The burly man who had been so aggressive just now had somehow shrunk behind the crowd, looking like he was ready to run away at any time.
No.
No need. Commander. My man. He thought about it for a long time but couldn't figure it out. At this moment, Yang Donghua's mind was blank, with only one thought left, which was finished. Seeing her expression, the people present became more and more certain that she came to cause trouble for Lin Wanshu on purpose. Guo Jian still said in a good-tempered manner, Don't be afraid, fellow villagers. If you have any difficulties, just tell us directly. We will do our best to help you if we can. But as soon as he finished speaking, the sturdy cousin ran towards the gate. However, there were so many soldiers in the cafeteria, and they had already noticed his movements. When they saw him trying to run, someone immediately stepped forward to stop him. The smile on Guo Jian's face disappeared. Why are you running away? Don't you want justice? Tell me, I'll support you. Hearing this, Yang Donghua seemed unable to bear the pressure any longer. She rolled over, got up and knelt on the spot.
I'm sorry, Commander.
It's not my fault. They forced me to do it. My husband's legs are fine, and he can walk. Yesterday afternoon they sent someone to threaten me and asked me to blackmail Dr. Lin. I didn't want to do that. Please forgive me. When they heard that he was indeed here to blackmail them, everyone present was suddenly shocked. The sturdy cousin and 3 other men were also detained on the spot. A young soldier came forward and helped Yang Donghua up and did not let her kneel. How could there be any smile on Guo Jian's face at this moment? Looking at Yang Donghua seriously, he said earnestly, The person you should apologize to is not me, but this doctor. She saved your husband, and you are repaying her with evil. This kind of behavior is unacceptable. How could Yang Donghua have the face to see Lin Wanshu? Covering her face with her hands, she lowered her head and stammered, I'm
sorry.
Dr. Lin Wanshu's face was very cold. Not all apologies can be forgiven. I sympathize with you because you have 5 children to raise. I prepared the ointment myself and didn't charge you much money, but in the end, I got struck by lightning for my kindness. If you really care about your children, don't do such an immoral thing. She should apologize. After all, I don't owe her anything. However, Lin Wanshu was not willing to force herself to say, It's okay. Her forgiveness wasn't so cheap. Hearing this, Yang Donghua's shoulders visibly collapsed. Her hands were still covering her face, tears dripping down her cheeks. But everyone present had seen how she had blackmailed people just now, and no one sympathized with her at all. Without Guo Jian's order, several soldiers took the men away on their own initiative. This situation can only be handled by the local public security bureau. The troublemakers were taken away, but the onlookers still did not disperse. Everyone was full of curiosity. What is the commander doing here? Just as I was thinking this, I saw Shirsume walking up to Lin Wanshu. Comrade Wanshu, the commander wants to see you. Hearing that the chief was actually here to see Lin Wanshu, everyone present couldn't help but gasp. What does the chief want to see Lin Wanshu for? Lin Wanshu had met many leaders in Beijing, so she was not very nervous when facing Guo Jian. Instead, He greeted him gracefully. "Heko, Chief." Guo Jian was very impressed by her calm and composed performance just now. Now that he saw that she was neither humble nor arrogant, there was a little more admiration in his eyes. "Are you Comrade Lin Wanshu?" "Sir, I am Lin Wanshu." Guo Jian nodded with a smile on his face and then said, "I came here today because I have something to ask of you." When these words were spoken, the onlookers almost dropped their jaws in shock. What on earth could it be that would make a military commander come to Lin Wanshu in person and ask her for a favor? "I don't deserve it. If you have anything to say, just tell me. I will do my best to do it." Lin Wanshu spoke quickly, with just the right amount of humility and sincerity on her face. Hearing this, Guo Jian laughed heartily and then asked if he could step aside to talk. He Wenju didn't know what he was going to do, so she looked at Lin Wanshu with some concern. Lin Wanshu patted her hands, motioning for her to eat first, and then she followed Guo Jian, the dean and Shisume, facing the envious and amazed gazes of the crowd. The group arrived at the office. Guo Jian didn't waste any words and got straight to the point. "To be honest with you, Comrade Lin, I came here just for your ointment." Hearing this, Lin Wanshu was a little surprised. She had only used it on 2 or 3 patients. How did he get the news so quickly? Guo Jian understood her confusion. "Comrade Ma Guoqiang recommended it to me. He said you used an ointment to cure 2 patients who were facing amputation. This is not a secret. Not only do people in the orthopedics department know about it, but almost everyone in other departments has heard of it." Lin Wanshu didn't know what his ultimate goal was, so she didn't say anything and just listened quietly. "I came here to get some ointment from you to save someone in the provincial capital." Guo Jian didn't come here on purpose. He just happened to be in city next door and heard that there was an ointment in Wen City that was particularly effective in treating injuries, so he came here. Heard that she was just asked to prescribe some medicine, she looked a little hesitant. "Yes, it is possible, but my drug has just been developed and has not yet undergone large-scale clinical trials. In fact, this medicine has been verified by her repeatedly, and there is no problem with its safety." But she thought it would be better for her to explain the situation to him in advance. Hearing this, Guo Jian was happy. "You are really interesting, young comrade. I have heard of your name. The 2 wound ointments you used before were not clinically tested, but they were later proven to be very effective and had no side effects. I believe in your ointment. Besides, the patient is now facing amputation. How could the situation be worse than it is now?" Having said everything that needed to be said, Lin Wanshu did not delay and went straight back to the dormitory to get him 2 large boxes and explain to him in detail how to use it. Guo Jian naturally didn't need to remember how to use it, as someone next to him had already written it down quickly with a pen. After finishing it, he showed it to Lin Wanshu for review. After confirming that there were no problems, he gave it to Guo Jian. Guo Jian was a busy man. After taking the ointment, he did not stay for long. He just patted Ma Guoqiang on the shoulder. "Comrade Xiaolin is a talented person. You must train him well. If someone could easily develop such a powerful medicine for injuries, what else could he be but a talent?" Without Guo Jian's words, Ma Guoqiang now also treats Lin Wanshu as a treasure. After all, as an intern, he has cured 3 or 4 difficult and complicated cases so far. Where can he find such talents? He had already made up his mind that once she passed her internship, he would keep her in their military hospital no matter what. "I will, don't worry, sir."
Ma Guoqiang assurd.
Guo Jian nodded with satisfaction, thanked Lin Wanshu, and then left. But before leaving, he did not forget about Yang Donghua's visit to the hospital to cause trouble. "We must urge the Public Security Bureau to find out who sent them here." After giving the instructions, Guo Jian, who had come in a hurry, left in a hurry again. Although he didn't stay for long, his arrival still surprised Lin Wanshu. With his level, there's no need for him to make a special trip, right? But soon she no longer cared about these. Because within 2 days, news about Yang Donghua came out. "Comrade Lin Wanshu, we have already investigated clearly. It was a group of bullies who suddenly came up with an idea and sent Yang Donghua to blackmail you." Came to inform Lin Wanshu was Mu Weiguang, who had gone to the family compound a few days ago. Perhaps because he knew that his words were not credible, he looked a little uncomfortable. Lin Wanshu not know that this investigation result was just a lie? But precisely because she knew this, she couldn't help but feel a little frightened. They dared to fool even the army commander, so it seemed that the other party was from a prominent background, at least someone with real power. Although her heart was already surging with emotions, Lin Wanshu remained calm. Okay, I understand. Thank you, comrade. Since the other party is not an ordinary person, it is impossible for her to argue with the person in front of her. Because there is no point in winning. He can't make the decision. However, Lin Wanshu did not intend to let it go. Thinking of the person who reported her a few days ago, a hint of coldness flashed in Lin Wanshu's eyes.
Muvei Guanc.
He already felt guilty, and when he felt the air suddenly become a little colder, how could he dare to stay any longer? He said goodbye to Lin Wanshu in a hurry and went back. Only after the two of them walked away did Lin Wanshu return to the hospital. It was time to get off work, and except for those on duty in the emergency room, everyone else went to the cafeteria. Lin Wanshu returned to her clinic and was about to pack up when Hyunju arrived. Hyunju has now entered the machinery factory and become a formal worker. But maybe because she had just joined the factory, she would get her meals from her own canteen every afternoon and eat with her. Seeing that Lin Wanshu looked unhappy, Hyunju felt a little strange. Wanshu, what's wrong? Lin Wanshu did not hide anything and told her that Yang Donghua's case had been closed. Hyunju. She had heard about Lin Wanshu being targeted for 2 consecutive days. However, Hyunju did not say anything about abusing power. Someone who came from a noble family in her previous life, she knew better than anyone that there was no such thing as absolute fairness in this world. As long as the general direction is correct, those rats in the gutter will sooner or later be crushed under the wheels of history. What are you going to do? If you need my help, just let me know. Hearing this, Lin Wanshu couldn't help but feel touched, but more surprised. She didn't expect Hyunju to react like this.
No criticism, no meaningless rants.
Instead, ask her directly what she wants to do and whether she needs help. This made Lin Wanshu unable to help but feel admiration from the bottom of her heart. As a result of these days of getting along, Lin Wanshu has a deeper understanding of her character. Therefore, knowing that she was not just being polite, she did not refuse. I heard that the Cabinet Committee building is diagonally opposite your machinery factory. If it's convenient for you, please help me keep an eye out for someone. During this special era, the Cabinet Committee has taken charge of the vast majority of functions that originally belonged to the government. This unit, Lin Wanshu couldn't think of any other unit that could manipulate the Public Security Bureau to commit fraud. Hearing this, Hyunju did not hesitate and did not even ask who she was paying attention to, but nodded directly. Okay, leave it to me. She was an intelligence officer in her previous life, so keeping an eye on one person was not difficult at all for her. Deciding to ask her for help, Lin Wanshu did not hide anything and told her about Chi Honglian's report on her a few days ago. Hyunju naturally knew Chi Honglian. When she heard this, her expression suddenly became a little strange. Wanshu, to be honest, I actually ran into her on my way back from having dinner at your place yesterday afternoon. Although it was dark and she couldn't see clearly, she had good eyesight and could still recognize it roughly. Originally, she thought Chi Honglian knew someone in the Cabinet Committee, but after hearing Lin Wanshu's words, she couldn't help but have a subtle guess in her mind. Lin Wanshu. Sure enough, it was most likely her who was behind this. But what hatred or grudge does she have against me? Why does she have to make things difficult for me again and again? Lin Wanshu was puzzled. It's easy as long as we have clues. Leave the rest to me. I promise to find out everything for you. Seeing her confused expression, Hyunju comforted her. Collecting intelligence was just her job in her previous life. There is no impenetrable wall in this world. As long as there is something unclear between her and the people inside, she will be able to find out. Lin Wanshu didn't know what Hyunju did in her previous life. When she heard her words, she subconsciously believed that she could definitely do it. Thank you for your help, Wenju. Chi Honglian had no idea that she was being targeted ever since she and Sun Qingping did that shameful thing. He seemed to have become addicted to it and would call her to City every now and then. That night, After the two of them rolled around in the lounge, Sun Qingping hugged Qi Honglian with a satisfied look on his face, savoring the moment. Qi Honglian could hardly hide the disgust in her heart, but she suppressed it tightly. Her fingers drew circles on his sagging chest, and she said in a tender voice, "When are you going to get me to the military hospital? It's so cold, and I'm freezing from running around." It is said that the power of pillow talk is enormous. A man's physical needs are met. He can usually be easily satisfied as long as he doesn't make excessive demands. But Sun Qingping was a shrewd man, and Qi Honglian's disgust was so obvious. How could he agree to her so easily? If he immediately sent her to the military hospital, would she still care about him? "Honglian, it's not that I don't want you to go to the military hospital. I also want to see you every day, but this can't be rushed. I'm already looking for connections, and I'll be able to get you in soon. Just be patient and wait." Hearing this, Qi Honglian suddenly felt lost. Wait again, you say this every time. I'm beginning to doubt whether you are lying to me." Qi Honglian was so angry that she gnashed her teeth at the fact that he, a ugly guy, could sleep with her, but she didn't cherish him. Seeing that she dared to lose her temper, the smile on Sun Qingping's face disappeared immediately. "Since you don't trust me, I have nothing to say." After saying that, he pushed Qi Honglian away and began to put on his clothes. Qi Honglian never expected that he would change his expressions so suddenly right after he slept with her, and she felt suddenly panicked. Not caring that she was still naked, she reached out and grabbed his clothes. "Qingping, I didn't mean that. Don't leave." If he left like this, she would have no hope of finding a job in the future. She gave her body to him, but got nothing in return. How could Qi Honglian accept this? Sun Qingping was very proud to see that she was controlled again. But he really had to go back, because there was a tigress waiting for him at home. His expression relaxed a little, and he rubbed the oil with his hands restlessly. Then he comforted her. "I'm keeping your matter in mind. Don't worry, I will get you into the military hospital soon." Qi Honglian almost annoyed him off just now, so how could she dare to show any disgust now? She just let him take advantage of her obediently. Until he felt satisfied, he patted her head like coaxing a puppy. "Be obedient, and you'll get some benefits." After saying this meaningfully, he left the lounge in a neatly dressed manner. In the empty lounge, only Qi Honglian, who was trembling all over, was left. "I don't know if it's because I'm angry or cold." On Sunday, He Wenju went back home by bus with Lin Wanshu. Meng Yuanshuang also returned to the Xiaopa Brigade today, so they took the same bus. Because she had been inexplicably distant from her recently, when she got in the car, Lin Wanshu sat next to He Wenju without hesitation. Meng Yuanshuang sat alone in the back row behind them. It is already mid-December, and although the winter solstice has not yet arrived, it is getting dark earlier. It was just past 6 o'clock, but it was pitch black outside the car window. When a car is driving on the road, even with the lights on, it can't illuminate very far. Fortunately, the driver was very familiar with this road. It can be said that I know how many times to turn the steering wheel for the next turn with my eyes closed. Although it was the last bus, there were still quite a few people on it. Moreover, people of this generation like to chat with each other regardless of whether they know each other or not, so the car is noisy all the way. He Wenju originally wanted to talk to Lin Wanshu about Qi Honglian, but the car was too noisy, so she had to give up. The two chatted about He Wenju's work at the machinery factory all the way. I have to say, she is indeed a person of outstanding abilities. After entering the factory, he became friends with everyone in the factory. Even the factory manager attaches great importance to her. "I don't know if Tingting misses me. Now I understand how you feel about going back to the family compound every week." Hadn't seen Xiao Tingting for many days and missed her very much. No wonder Lin Wanshu had to run back and forth in such a cold weather. With a baby at home, which mother wouldn't worry about him? Lin Wanshu can see Xiao Miao Miao every night now. The baby is asleep most of the time. Therefore, she couldn't wait to go back home to play with the little guy. In the second half of the conversation, the two of them started talking about their respective children. This is probably a common problem for mothers. They just want to talk about their children whenever they have nothing to do. His words were full of pride. My daughter Tingting is very talented in physics. I plan to take her to the machinery factory to study next semester. Good talent and a friendly environment. She believes that Qiu Tingting will bring her unexpected surprises in time. Hearing this, Lin Wanshu also expressed her deep agreement. Tingting really needs to be trained well. Don't waste her talent. The two were talking about Qiu Tingting's future study at the machinery factory, but as soon as they got off the car, they saw two men in military uniforms. Ian. Even though she could see him every night, Lin Wanshu was still very happy. The joy in the corners of her eyes and eyebrows could not be hidden. Qin Yan's originally tough and cold face softened the moment he saw Lin Wanshu. Are you cold? Although Lin Wanshu was already wearing a thick military coat, Qin Yan still couldn't help but show concern. If there weren't so many people here, he would probably have touched her hands to see if they were cold. Lin Wanshu smiled and shook her head. It's not cold. I'm wearing 3 layers of clothing. After hearing this, Qin Yan finally felt relieved. He took her bag and hung it on the handlebars before saying, "Get in the car first." Good. The couple clearly didn't do anything out of the ordinary, but the sweet atmosphere made people unable to help but look sideways. Comparatively speaking, Qiu Yong and He Wenju were much more reserved. Maybe it's because the two of them are not very familiar with each other. In addition, when Qiu Yong heard that He Wenju was going to take Qiu Tingting to the machinery factory to study, his face looked a little strange. If both mother and daughter go to Wen City, will she still come back to the family compound to see herself? Qiu Yong had no doubt that he meant nothing to her. Even though she is now sober and belongs to herself, her heart is still filled with too many things. His daughter, work, and even Lin Wanshu all come before him. He Wenju did not notice that Qiu Yong was in a bad mood. Getting off the car, she walked straight towards him. Where's Tingting? Is she home? As soon as they met, He Wenju couldn't wait to ask. Qiu Yong. Sure enough, he shouldn't have expected too much. Tingting is waiting for you at home. She said she would come to pick you up, but it was too cold, so I didn't let her come. Qiu Yong said this without blushing or breathing heavily. You can't tell at all that I just don't want to be a light bulb. He Wenju did not suspect anything. When she heard that Tingting was waiting for her at home, how could she bear it? If it weren't for the good upbringing ingrained in her bones, she would probably have jumped on the bicycle by now. However, when riding a bicycle on this kind of mountain road, you can only sit upright for safety reasons. You can't sit sideways, and there is no elegance at all. Although she was not used to it, He Wenju still forced herself to cross over the back seat and sit on it. As soon as I sat down, Qiu Yong's voice came from the front. Hold on, I'm going to ride my bike. Hearing the urgency in his voice, He Wenju's heart skipped a beat. Uncomfortably, only to see Lin Wanshu's hand already in Qin Yan's pocket. He Wenju. Lin Wanshu had just gotten into the car, hesitated for a moment, turned to look at Meng Yuanshuang, and wanted to ask her if she needed a ride. Although she didn't know why she distanced herself from her, she couldn't bear to let a woman walk home at night in the middle of winter. Would be worried if she ran into criminals on the way. But before she could open her mouth, she saw a man of medium build walking up to Meng Yuanshuang. Can't you go home by yourself? It's so cold, and you still let me go all the way to pick you up. Do you think you're a lady from the old society? Which woman is as hypocritical as you? Meng Yuanshuang could be happy that her man really came to pick her up. She heard these words, and her face suddenly felt hot, and she felt extremely embarrassed. We are both men, so why can others come and pick up their wives without any complaints? Why is it that when it's my turn, I only feel disgust and complaints? Although her heart was overwhelmed with embarrassment, Meng Yuanshuang still tried to reason with him in a low voice. Kaigui, it's too dark now. It's not safe for me to go back alone, so I called you. But when Chen Kaigui heard this, he couldn't help but sneer. With a bean sprout like you? You have no chests and no butt. Who would be so blind as to choose you? Hearing these insulting words, Lin Wanshu couldn't help but frown. No matter what she looks like, she is your wife. Why do you despise her? If you don't like her, why did you marry her? If you marry her and don't take responsibility, are you still a man? Chen Kaigui had always treated Meng Yuanshuang as a scolda, and he had gotten used to it over the years. He never thought that someone would help Meng Yuanshuang scold him. He was immediately furious. I can scold my wife if I want to. What does it have to do with you? Before Chen Kaigui could finish his curse, he was met with a pair of cold eyes. Instantly, all the blood in his body seemed to be frozen. The words were stuck in my throat before they came out. Even roosters know to protect their mates. Are you worse than a chicken? Being despised, Chen Kaigui's face suddenly turned red. But due to his momentum, he didn't dare to say a word. Meng Yuanshuang glanced at the imposing Qin Yan and then looked at her own man who was only good at bullying others at home. She felt confused and didn't know what to feel. In the end, she ignored Chen Kaigui and walked out of the station with her head down. Lin Wanshu looked at Meng Yuanshuang's back, a hint of doubt flashing in her eyes. What happened to her? But before she could think about it, Qin Yan turned around and said, "Sit down, we'll go back first." Oh, unable to figure it out, Lin Wanshu didn't care anymore. He grabbed Qin Yan's clothes tightly and said, "I'm ready, let's go." As soon as he finished speaking, 2 bicycles drove out of the bus station one after the other. Because it was very dark, both men carried flashlights when they went out. Qin Yan tied the flashlight directly to his hat and didn't let Lin Wanshu take it. It was Qiu Yong's first time to pick someone up and he had no experience, so Huanju was the one who took the flashlight in the end. However, their relationship is not as close as Lin Wanshu's. Huanju would not put her hands into Qiu Yong's pockets and she didn't feel anything when holding the flashlight. But when Qiu Yong saw that Lin Wanshu did not hesitate to put both hands in Qin Yan's pockets, he was immediately envious. Finally, he ignored Huanju's resistance and forced her other hand into his pocket. "It's cold, don't get frozen," Qiu Yong said seriously. Huanju. She originally wanted to take her hands out, but the weather was too cold, and the man's body was like a furnace. As soon as her hands were in his pockets, she immediately felt a lot warmer all over. In the end, driven by instinct, she was unable to take her hand away. The 2 bicycles returned to the family compound one after the other. Not long after entering the family compound, I saw several lights on. If you look closely, aren't they the wind-powered light bulbs made by Huanju? When passing the first light, several figures suddenly rushed out from the door. "Mother! Mom, you're back!" Qiu Tingting ran the fastest and rushed directly to Huanju and hugged her.
Wow.
"You're finally back. I thought you didn't want me anymore." Although she said she went to work, Qiu Tingting couldn't help but have wild thoughts. She ran away quietly because she thought I was disobedient. Huanju felt sad when she saw her daughter crying. "Silly. How could my mother not want you? I am going to work. I will tell you in detail later. My workplace is so much fun." After hearing her talk about her workplace, Qiu Tingting stopped crying. "Really? Mom, what does a machinery factory look like? Can I go and see it next time?" Qiu Tingting is now very interested in all mechanical things. If she were not so young, she would want to work in a machinery factory like her mother. "Okay, I'm going to take you there." Huanju was just about to say that she was planning to send her to the machinery factory to study, but before she could open her mouth, she was interrupted by Qiu Yong. "You must be tired after working all day. Go home and have a meal and take a shower first. Don't freeze at the door." Being interrupted, Huanju didn't think much about it. "Look at me. I forget everything when I'm happy. Let's go back first. Wanshu, you guys should go home early too." Lin Wanshu had just picked up her chubby little baby, and when she heard this, she quickly responded, "Okay, let's go first. See you tomorrow." They will definitely make an appointment to go to work together tomorrow. Xiao Miao Miao hugged her mother's neck tightly with both hands and kept calling Mom, Mom. Lin Wanshu was not impatient. She responded every time the little guy called her. The Shun Xiai brothers and Feng Jianxi and 2 other people followed beside them, chattering and asking questions about this and that. "Annie, is it cold in Moon City? We are freezing here." "And Wanwan, are we going to grill fish again tomorrow? The grilled fish we had last time was so delicious." Lin Wanshu responded to Xiao Miao Miao. She also took the time to answer a few questions from the little ones. She was so tired that her mouth was almost smoking before she returned home. Already past 7 o'clock when I got home. The weather was too cold, so Lin Wanshu asked the 3 little ones to go home. Although Shin Yu and the others were not very willing, they were afraid that if they did not listen to Lin Wanshu, they would annoy Qin Yan, so they had to go back obediently. After returning home, Lin Wanshu prepared to make some simple noodles to deal with it. It was like this every time she came back. But today, before Lin Wanshu started cooking, she unexpectedly discovered that there were 2 dishes warming in the big iron pot, and there was cooked porridge in the small aluminum pot. "You did it?" Lin Wanshu asked in surprise. But the dish didn't look like something he could make. "It wasn't me." Qin Yan had just come out of the military camp and went straight to the station to pick up Lin Wanshu. He had no time to cook. When he saw the food warming in the pot. Seeing this, how could Lin Wanshu not guess? This must have been done by one of the military wives. I guess these dishes were given to her by others. I just don't know who helped her do this. I'll ask tomorrow. Lin Wanshu felt warm inside as she could eat a hot meal as soon as she got home. This feeling of giving, having others see it, and giving back in return is really too wonderful. Although there are occasionally some people who repay kindness with enmity, the vast majority of people are kind and friendly. Lin Wanshu also likes the current atmosphere of the family compound more and more. Thinking of the ointment she gave to the leader a few days ago, Lin Wanshu's eyes flashed with determination again. After dinner, Lin Wanshu washed Xiao Miao Miao's face, feet, and butt, then took off her heavy cotton jacket and stuffed it into the quilt. She herself hasn't showered yet. The weather was too cold, so Lin Wanshu planned to coax Xiao Miao Miao to sleep before going into the space to take a shower. After a while, Qin Yan also came back. He usually took cold showers even in winter, but unexpectedly, he didn't take one today. Lin Wanshu raised her eyebrows slightly, a little surprised. But Xiao Miao Miao didn't want to sleep at all today. She kept crawling around in the quilt, playing hide-and-seek with her. Lin Wanshu indulged her. Whenever she saw a bulge in the quilt, she would reach out and grab it, making the baby giggle. We were having fun when suddenly, an urgent voice came from the door. "Captain Qin, is your sister-in-law home?" "I'm here." Seeing someone was looking for her, Lin Wanshu said something to Xiao Miao Miao before walking out. At the door, Qin Yan had just gone out and was now standing and talking with another man in military uniform. It was dark outside, and Lin Wanshu couldn't see who it was. It's Lao Feng. His wife is not feeling well. Qin Yan was afraid that Lin Wanshu would trip over the threshold, so when he saw her come out, he reached out to help her. After hearing this, Lin Wanshu finally saw clearly that if the person coming was not Feng Zhuqing, then who else could it be? And his daughter-in-law was none other than Du Fuling. Feng Zhuqing looked very anxious, and without waiting for Lin Wanshu to ask, he quickly said, "Sister-in-law, I came to you because I really had no other choice. My wife is rolling around on the bed in stomach pain. Can you help me take a look?" Lin Wanshu was a little surprised. "Did you eat something bad? Why don't you go to the clinic?" Given her personality, she probably wouldn't mind having me treat her. Hearing this, Feng Zhuqing's expression suddenly became a little more awkward. He glanced at Qin Yan and said hesitantly, It's a woman's physiological problem. She refused to go to the clinic." Hearing this, Lin Wanshu immediately understood. Is this dysmenorrhea? If it were in the past, Lin Wanshu would definitely ask him to go to the clinic. But she is a doctor now, and no matter what grudges there are between them, it is her responsibility to save lives and heal the wounded. "Wait a minute, I'll get the medicine box." Qin Yan made a medicine box for her so that she could carry medicine when she went out to see a doctor. Seeing that she was willing to go, Feng Zhuqing breathed a sigh of relief and hurriedly thanked her. Lin Wanshu did not delay and went to the next room to get the medicine box, then went out with Feng Zhuqing. Xiao Miao Miao saw that her mother was about to leave. She immediately refused and made a fuss on the bed, asking to find her mother. There was no other choice. Qin Yan could only put his coat on her and followed her out with him in his arms. Several people soon arrived at Feng's house. In the room, Du Fuling's face had turned blue from the pain, and she was covered in cold sweat. The pain made her consciousness become a little fuzzy, and she wailed uncontrollably. Old.
Fong.
Old Fong. It hurts. Fong Zhuqing felt very uncomfortable seeing her in so much pain. He walked over quickly, took her hand, and comforted her. Fuling, don't worry, I've called Sister Wan Shu over. She will definitely be able to find a way. Du Fuling always has menstrual pain, but never as severe as it is now. In pain. Hearing that Lin Wanshu was coming, Du Fuling, whose consciousness was already blurred, suddenly widened her eyes. She looked at the figure carrying the medicine box in some disbelief.
You.
Why would she be willing to come? Du Fuling suspected that she was hallucinating because of the pain. Lin Wanshu didn't know what she wanted to say. She just fulfilled her duty as a doctor and went forward to examine her. Please stretch out your hand so I can feel your pulse. It wasn't until her hand touched her pulse that Du Fuling dared to believe it was true. She really came to treat herself. In the family compound, who doesn't know Lin Wanshu's name? Any married woman will have some unspeakable problems. Most people are too embarrassed to go to the health clinic. Not to mention going to the health center. In this conservative era, it is embarrassing for women to just mention gynecological diseases. Now that Lin Wanshu could see a doctor, they had a place to go. Through word of mouth, everyone in the entire family compound knew that Lin Wanshu was not only good at treating external injuries, but was also extremely effective in treating women's problems. Du Fuling had long wanted to find Lin Wanshu to take a look at herself. But when she thought about the trouble she had caused with others in the past, she felt ashamed. Who would have thought that someone would actually come to my house to treat me? Looking at the person in front of her who was taking her pulse seriously, Du Fuling felt mixed emotions. Her lips moved. She wanted to say something. But when the words came to her lips, a sharp pain came again, and her face changed. Seeing how much pain she was in, Lin Wanshu didn't delay and planned to give her acupuncture to relieve the pain first. When Du Fuling saw the rows of long and thin needles she took out from the box, her face suddenly changed. Will it hurt? She has been afraid of injections since she was a child. It would hurt her to death if this thing was inserted into her body, right? Lin Wanshu was helpless. Can it be more painful than it is now? Do you want to be pricked? If not, I will leave. She wasn't so willing to come and see the doctor. Hearing that she was leaving, Du Fuling became anxious.
I'm stabbed. Ouch. I'm stabbed.
Do and leave. As she spoke, she covered her stomach and wailed again. Seeing that she no longer resisted, Lin Wanshu began to give her acupuncture. As the needles in her hand were inserted into the acupuncture points one by one, Du Fuling slowly felt the pain in her lower abdomen begin to ease. Such a change made her feel frightened. Those military wives were not talking nonsense. Her medical skills were indeed amazing. To be honest, she had seen a doctor for her dysmenorrhea, but it had never been cured. Sometimes even seeing a doctor and taking medicine doesn't help much. It's not like now. After a few injections, the pain was relieved a lot. Lin Wanshu gave her acupuncture. She also gave her a massage. After a massage, Du Fuling, who had been wailing in pain with her face turning blue, finally felt a lot better. Although my stomach still hurts a little, it is much better than before. Unable to hold back, she said to Lin Wanshu with gratitude, "Thank you for being willing to help me." Lin Wanshu was already packing her things. Upon hearing this, she did not react much and only nodded faintly. "You're welcome." Seeing her so distant, Du Fuling felt very lost. She had seen how she interacted with other military wives on a daily basis, chatting and laughing with them, not at all as cold as she was now. But Du Fuling knew in her heart that the reason why she was so cold to her was her own fault. Who made her look down on others and mock her as a country bumpkin. Lin Wanshu packed up her things. She said to Fong Zhuqing, "Come back to my house with me later, and I'll prescribe some medicine for you." In addition to acupuncture and massage, internal conditioning, foot bathing, and plastering are also required to achieve the effect of regulating qi and blood, activating blood circulation, and relieving pain. Fong Zhuqing didn't understand these professional terms. He just instinctively thought she was amazing. After all, he only made a slight move and relieved his wife's dysmenorrhea. Therefore, he did not dare to take Lin Wanshu's instructions lightly and pricked up his ears to listen carefully. After giving the instructions, Lin Wanshu had no plans to stay any longer. He picked up his medicine box and was about to leave. Du Fuling looked at Lin Wanshu's back. A complex and indistinguishable emotion flashed in her eyes. Just a moment later, she suddenly thought of something and hurriedly called Fang Zhuqing. "What's wrong?" Fang Zhuqing was about to go get medicine with Lin Wanshu, but when he heard his wife calling him, he had to stop and ask. Du Fuling took out an iron box from the cabinet beside the bed, opened it, and inside was colorful bills. She took out a few industrial tickets and handed them to Fang Zhuqing. "I heard that Comrade Wanshu doesn't charge for her medical treatment. We can't not show some appreciation. Take this and give it to her." Looking at the bill she handed to him, Fang Zhuqing was a little surprised. No one knew better than him how arrogant his wife was. Not to mention sending gifts to others. Even if someone came to treat her, she would probably think it was an honor for them. Now, seeing that she actually took the initiative to send tickets to Lin Wanshu, how could he not be shocked? When he came to his senses, he took the ticket with a complicated expression. "I see." Outside the yard, Qin Yan was coaxing Xiao Miao Miao. As a man, he certainly couldn't go in and see someone else's wife. She just strolled around the yard holding the baby. When she saw Lin Wanshu coming out, Xiao Miao Miao's eyes suddenly lit up. "Mother!" As she shouted, she opened her two short little hands toward her, as if asking for a hug. The cotton coats of this era were bulky and thick. Not only did the children look chubby when wearing them, but even Lin Wanshu herself found it very inconvenient. But even so, she did not refuse the baby's request to be held. After handing the medicine box to Qin Yan, she reached out to take the baby. Xiao Miao Miao finally returned to her mother's arms, and her big eyes curved into crescents from smiling. The two little feet were kicking, looking very happy. 3 adults and a baby walked back in the cold wind. Xiao Miao Miao to see her mother, so she kept chattering all the way. I don't know if it's because there are so many children in the family compound, but Xiao Miao Miao's SP Pesh is becoming clearer and clearer. Sometimes I can even speak short sentences of 4 or 5 words. "Mom, look, moon brew." Xiao Miao Miao stretched out her chubby little hand and pointed at the crescent moon in the sky. "It's the moon, not the moon wine," Lin Wanshu corrected.
"Moon lang?"
Xiao Miao Miao tilted her head and looked at Lin Wanshu, as if asking herself if what she said was right. Just at this moment, Shen Yu's voice came from a passing window. "Sister, it's the moon." When Xiao Miao Miao heard Shen Yu's voice, her eyes lit up and she pointed at the window and shouted, "Elder brother." But just as she finished shouting, she heard a bang from inside, as if something fell to the ground. Then came Shen Yu's angry voice.
"Shenqi."
"What did you put under the window?" "It made me fall, and it hurts so much." In the room, Shen Xiai rolled his eyes speechlessly. "You set the rat trap yourself."
"Shen Yu." "Oh, he forgot about that."
"In the house, so he took a cage to see if he could catch one. Unexpectedly, he not only failed to catch the mouse, but also fell down. The worst part is, he embarrassed himself in front of his sister again." Outside the window, Lin Wanshu listened to the two brothers bickering and felt a little amused. "Shen Yu, it's late. You should go to bed early and play with your sister tomorrow." After hearing this, Shen Yu, who originally wanted to open the window, had to give up regretfully. "Okay then, goodbye, sister. I'll see you tomorrow." Next time he must perform well and let his sister see his bravery and power. "Goodbye." Xiao Miao Miao turned around without any reluctance and pointed forward, saying, "Go home." Shen Yu looked heartbroken. "She just left like that? Why don't you say a few more words to me?" Shen Xiai didn't bother to pay attention to him. He just pulled the quilt over himself and went to sleep. He was in a bad mood because he couldn't talk to his sister. Shen Yu. It was a wrong payment after all. On this side, Lin Wanshu's family of 3 took Fang Zhuqing home to get medicine, while on the other side, Qiu Yong felt terrible when he saw his daughter snatching the quilt from him. "Ting Ting, you're grown up now, you should go back to your room and sleep," Qiu Yong said with a straight face. But Qiu Tingting hasn't seen He Wenju for almost a week, so how could she be so easily fooled? Dad, you're gay and Mom and I are both girls. You should sleep in another room. As she spoke, she hugged her fragrant mother and squinted her eyes with happiness. If she had said this in the past, she would definitely not have dared to say it. But now it's different. Her mother has become stronger and will protect her, so she doesn't have to worry about being scolded by her father. Seeing her occupying his place and his arms, Qiu Yang's forehead veins throbbed. But He Wenju had no intention of helping him at all. She even said to him with a smile, "Captain Qiu, it's very late. You should go to sleep next door. Please turn off the lights for me before you go out." Qiu Yang. He didn't want to go out at all. He just wanted to carry the troublesome light bulb to the next room. But he knew He Wenju's character. He seems to be very polite and good at speaking, but in fact he has more ideas than anyone else. If he really dares to take Qiu Tingting to the next door, she might run away with the baby tomorrow. He exhaled heavily and looked at her with some resentment.
No.
Having said that, he turned around reluctantly and went out, turning off the light. The room was plunged into darkness in an instant. He Wenju heard the door creak shut, and she breathed a sigh of relief. Although it was a bit selfish, she was really afraid of him. The physical exertion required to be a soldier is not something that ordinary people can endure. She didn't want to feel sore all over again like last time. Without the man who was eyeing her covetously, He Wenju soon fell asleep while holding her sweet and soft daughter. But she was obviously relieved too early. Of the night, a dark shadow tiptoed into the house. Then, Qiu Tingting, who rolled to the side of the bed, was carried out quietly. He Wenju was still unaware of anything and was immersed in her sleep, until a heavy body pressed down on me. Early the next morning, Lin Wanshu went to check Tang Xiangdong's leg. Tang Qian had been waiting there long ago. Lin Wanshu arrived. She brought out the steaming rice cake. "Wanshu, don't be in a hurry. Eat a piece of rice cake first and see how I cook it." It was Lin Wanshu who taught her how to steam rice cakes. In the past, Tang Qian was reluctant to do it because her family had no money and there was not enough food for her to spend. Now I have taken my old father in, and although it is a bit hard work, I have finally saved some money and have surplus food. She was finally able to steam some rice cakes for everyone to taste. Seeing her look of anticipation in sharing good things with her, Lin Wanshu couldn't help but feel a little enlightened. How incredible! Before, she was a stingy person who felt at a disadvantage if she didn't get any advantage.
But now she has changed.
"Since you made it, I must try it. If it's not good, don't say I taught you to do it, or you'll ruin my reputation." Lin Wanshu teased her jokingly. Tang Qian was not annoyed, and instead urged her to eat quickly. "I followed every step you taught me, so it must be perfect." There were a few military wives nearby, already eating the rice cake she made. The soft and glutinous rice cake paired with the fragrant sauce has a really unique flavor. "Tang Qian, that's great. Your cooking skills are almost as good as Wanshu's." Tang Qian called her home mysteriously early in the morning. It turned out that she wanted to treat her to rice cakes. Yang Zheng felt very complicated. However, she was not used to showing her sentimental side, so she just joked about it. "Yang Zheng, you are wrong. Tang Qian's cooking skills are better than hers. I think she can go to a state-owned restaurant to make rice cakes and sell them," Lin Wanshu said exaggeratedly after taking a bite. This immediately made Tang Qian blush. "Just keep teasing me, but be careful, or I won't treat you guys next time I have something delicious." Seeing that Tang Qian, who is usually thick-skinned, got angry, everyone hurriedly begged for mercy and said, "We dare not." The whole yard was filled with laughter. Zhang Wegang looked at his wife, who seemed like a different person, with a gratified smile on his face. He should have brought his father-in-law over a long time ago. This is what life is like. It's a bit tiring, but at least there's hope. Lin Wanshu finished eating the rice cake. She checked Tang Xiangdong's leg. After almost 2 months of applying medicine, his fracture has basically recovered. Left is the rheumatoid problem. Tang Qian heard that her father's leg bones had almost recovered. She couldn't help but feel happy. Her father would be able to stand up again soon in the foreseeable future. "Dad, did you hear that?" Your leg bones are healed. You can walk and jump again in the future. Tang Qian held Tang Xiangdong's hand, her eyes a little red. She didn't expect that there would be a day when he could really be cured. Tang Xiangdong was also very excited. I heard it. I heard it. His leg bones were reconnected and were no longer deformed as before, and he no longer felt the severe pain from the dislocated leg bones. This was something he had never dared to think about before, but now it has become a reality. Thank you, doctor. If it weren't for you, my leg bones would have been broken. When they can live well. Lin Wanshu looked at the excited father and daughter and was very happy for them. Uncle Tang, you're welcome. Tang Qian and I are from the same family compound. She has helped me a lot. We are all family, so we should keep our distance. She just found out that Tang Qian had helped her prepare yesterday's dishes. Hearing Lin Wanshu say this, Tang Qian was even more moved. What a good person. He helped her so much, but he never mentioned it and never asked for anything in return. After Tang Xiangdong's legs rest for a while, he can have massage. During this period, she only gave him medicine and acupuncture. Yunnan province is a natural storehouse of medicinal materials, and the medicinal effects of these materials are extraordinary. A period of time, Tang Xiangdong's rheumatism-like pain was relieved a lot. However, this disease cannot be cured so quickly in the short term, and it will take some time. As long as it can be cured, I am willing to spend as much time as possible. Tang Qian patted her chest and said. Lin Wanshu was aware of her feelings for Tang Xiangdong, so she naturally knew that she was not just talking casually. I guess no one here knows better than Tang Qian how hard it is to take care of an elderly person with limited mobility. But she never complained and was cheerful every day. It seems as if he has endless energy. This was something that not only Lin Wanshu admired, but others also admired him with all their heart. After examining Tang Xiangdong's leg, Lin Wanshu went straight home. But who would have thought that as soon as I walked into the yard, I would see He Wenju, who looked a little depressed. Wenju, what's wrong with you? Didn't you sleep well last night? Lin Wanshu was still thinking about Tang Xiangdong's leg, so she asked casually. But as soon as she asked, she saw He Wenju's face suddenly turn red. Don't mention it. Someone is so insidious and cunning that he actually launched a sneak attack in the middle of the night. And I don't know if it was revenge. He didn't let her rest at all last night. Seeing her embarrassed and angry expression, Lin Wanshu instantly realized something, and a trace of discomfort appeared on her face. It seems that Captain Xiu's journey to pursue his wife is destined to be bumpy. He Wenju was very angry. It was a private matter after all, and she couldn't bring it up and talk about it everywhere. Finally, she suppressed her anger and talked about Qi Honglian with Lin Wanshu. I have already found out that she has an ambiguous relationship with the deputy director of the cabinet committee. Here is the information I wrote down. Take a look. As she spoke, she took out a piece of paper and handed it to Lin Wanshu. Lin Wanshu unfolded it. She read 10 lines at a glance and couldn't help but gasp. No wonder the deputy director of the cabinet committee is so bold. It turns out that his background is so strong. Unless the leaders in Beijing are completely overthrown, Sun Qingping will have to continue to be domineering for a while. Wanshu, what are you going to do? He Wenju asked again. It has been a long time since she last did this kind of intelligence gathering work, and she is now feeling a little itchy. Lin Wanshu pursed her lips, a hint of coldness flashing across her eyes. After a pause, she leaned over to He Wenju's ear and whispered. The more He Wenju listened, the brighter her eyes became. Okay, Wanshu, your idea is good. Leave it to me. I will make sure the message gets through. She was extremely excited at the thought of someone getting into trouble. Even the depression in my heart has lessened a bit. But she still felt a little awkward and didn't want to go back to see that person, so she just stayed with Lin Wanshu. After a while, Qiu Tingting also came. She had obviously just woken up and looked sleepy. When she saw He Wenju, she couldn't help but complain. Mom, why did you carry me to that room? Didn't you say you would sleep with me? He Wenju. The heat on my face, which I had suppressed with great difficulty, surged up again. Lin Wanshu on the side almost laughed out loud. So this is what happened last night. No wonder He Wenju was so angry that she came to me early in the morning. He Wenju looked at her daughter's accusing expression and was silent for a moment before she uttered a word. Did you sleepwalk back to your bed last night? It was clearly his evil deeds, yet he still had to help clean up the mess and deceive the child. He Wenju became even angrier. Qiu Tingting has now become a brainless fan of He Wenju, so she doesn't doubt her words.
Oh, so that's the case. I was wrong about you. I'm sorry, Mum.
He Wenju. It's better not to apologize to her. She wants to be alone. Not daring to look into her daughter's innocent eyes, He Wenju rubbed her face with her hands and said through gritted teeth, "It's okay. Qiu Tingting. Mom is being weird today." Lin Wanshu felt both sympathy and amusement when she saw He Wenju's face full of shame and anger. Finally, out of fear of embarrassment, she would go back to the kitchen. But who knew that as soon as she entered the door, she would meet her man's somewhat ambiguous eyes. Lin Wanshu. Oh no. I don't know what happened last night. I suddenly felt very sleepy, and I don't even know when I fell asleep. Qin Yan went out early in the morning. When she came back just now, she was talking to He Wenju in the pharmacy and didn't notice when he came back. Meeting someone like this, Lin Wanshu felt inexplicably guilty. Where did you go this morning? Blinking, she asked as if nothing had happened. It was as if I wasn't the one who fell asleep in the middle of flirting last night. The man looked at her with deep eyes, paused, and then said, I'll go catch some fish for you. Hearing this, Lin Wanshu's eyes suddenly lit up.
Where?
Of the grilled fish I made last week, and they were all looking forward to having another meal of it this week. Lin Wanshu was just about to ask Qin Yan to go see if his fellow villagers had any fish, but she never expected that he actually caught one. I put it in the bucket. Hearing this, Lin Wanshu went to look at the bucket. Sure enough, wasn't there a big crucian carp swimming in it? This fish looks like it weighs at least 3 or 4 pounds, right? He just caught it back like that? How did you catch it? Lin Wanshu asked curiously, her eyes full of amazement. I got a fishing rod and fished for it. In fact, he caught more than one fish. Qin Yan disliked the fish because they had too many bones, so he threw them back and only brought back one without any bones. You're so awesome, aren't you? Unable to help herself, Lin Wanshu looked at him with admiration. Being praised by her like this, Qin Yan's originally dark eyes instantly filled with soft waves. Barely perceptible smile in his eyes. If you like, I'll catch it for you later. Lin Wanshu's heart softened instantly. To see that there was no one there, she stood on tiptoes and gave him a quick kiss. Thank you, I love it. Nowadays, we often have people coming over to our house, and the kitchen has almost become a public area. Her action was really too bold. After the kiss, Lin Wanshu's ears felt hot. Not daring to stay here any longer, she turned around and wanted to leave. Qin Yan didn't expect that she would kiss him here, and he was a little overwhelmed for a moment. When he came to his senses, he quickly grabbed the person. Lin Wanshu had never expected that she would be caught like this. Her heart skipped a beat. What happened? Looking at her ears that looked like they were carved from pink jade, Qin Yan's Adam's apple rolled up and down unconsciously. That is all? Lin Wanshu. Otherwise, this is the kitchen. The watery eyes seemed to be able to speak, looking at him in shock. The smile in Qin Yan's eyes deepened a little. After a pause, he spoke in an ambiguous tone. Last night. Hearing that he was going to mention what happened last night, Lin Wanshu slid to her knees in an instant. I'm sorry about last night. I didn't mean it. She didn't know what happened. She was fine, but suddenly she felt very sleepy and fell asleep accidentally. How could Qin Yan care about her standing him up halfway? He was just worried that her body couldn't handle it. Seeing that she looked guilty, he no longer had the heart to scare her. After rubbing the woman's head, Qin Yan reached out and hugged her, then said, You are too tired from work. After you finish talking to them, go back to your room and have a rest. Seeing the worry and heartache in his eyes, Lin Wanshu felt warmed. But it is impossible for her to rest, because the military wives will come to find her soon. It's impossible to be free before noon. But she didn't say that. Her heart, and seeing that no one was coming in, She couldn't help but stood on tiptoe and kissed him again. I see. After saying that, she ran away. Qin Yan. To have a wife who is flirtatious and irresponsible? He has finally learned his lesson. Lin Wanshu ran out of the kitchen. Yang Zheng came in carrying a backpack. Wanshu, I brought you some herbs. I've processed them according to the method you told me. Do you think it works? Every weekend, the military wives would bring her the herbs they collected. At the beginning, after Lin Wanshu collected enough medical fees, she stopped allowing the military wives to continue collecting. But the military wives refused to do so. As soon as they went up the mountain and saw something suitable that she needed, they would pick it and process it and wait for her to come back. After a period of collecting herbs, most of the military wives in the family compound have gained a basic understanding of these herbs. Lin Wanshu hurriedly took the backpack and was about to see how her batch of medicine was being processed, but unexpectedly saw a special plant on the top of the basket. Yang Zheng picked up the strange plant and handed it to Lin Wanshu. Wanshu, can you please see if this medicine is useful?
I found it by chance in the mountains.
In the mountains for so long, and had seen most of the medicinal herbs, but this kind of grass was the only one she had never seen. She picked them and showed them to Lin Wanshu. Yang Zheng, this grass is Dendrobium officinale. Where did you pick it? It's a good thing. When Yang Zheng heard that it was a good thing, her eyes lit up. I saw it on Dongtu Mountain. It grew on the rock wall, and you couldn't see it unless you paid attention. After that, she asked curiously, Wanshu, what is the use of this thing? Lin Wanshu did not hide it either. Dendrobium was called a magical herb in ancient times. It is very nourishing for men, women, young and old. Hearing that this thing is very nutritious, Yang Zheng immediately became interested. Then I'll go collect the rest, and you can teach me how to do it later. Ever since she took the medicinal food prescribed by Lin Wanshu, she now feels a lot lighter. When Yang Zheng heard the word nutritious, he became excited and wanted to pick all the dendrobiums immediately. Didn't expect that she could get such a big bargain by learning to collect herbs from Lin Wanshu. She is now full of energy. Lin Wanshu allow her to do this? Wild medicinal herbs are hard to come by, and if you pick them all, there won't even be any seeds left. Hearing this, Yang Zheng patted his head and said in annoyance, If you hadn't told me, I would have forgotten about this. I should have saved some. As she also comes from a peasant family, she understands the significance of saving seeds even better. Lin Wanshu carefully taught her how to pick the dendrobiums without damaging the remaining ones. Yang Zheng now admires Lin Wanshu very much. Naturally, she listened to whatever she said. By the way, once you've finished mining this spot, don't tell anyone else. We'll prevent everyone from rushing in and leaving nothing behind. Yang Zheng nodded repeatedly again and again. Wanshu, wait a minute. I'll pick some and give them to you. After saying that, she couldn't wait to run away. Lin Wanshu. Not long after Yang Zheng left, other military wives also came. Without exception, all the herbs they collected were processed. And knowing that they would most likely take the medicine themselves, the military wives were particularly careful in handling it. He also explained various processing methods in detail. If you don't know, you might think that all the military wives in the family compound know medical skills. Wanshu, I feel like if I continue to learn from you for a few more months, I'll be able to prescribe medicine for myself.
Zhong Fengshu said jokingly.
Who says it's not? I can tell what any medicine I pick up is used for. The military wives never dared to imagine that one day they would understand so much. Although they are not professional medical staff, they cannot treat diseases. However, knowing some pharmacological knowledge is a rare blessing for them. This is another reason why the military wives insisted on picking herbs for Lin Wanshu. All morning, the military wives came and went, and Lin Wanshu's yard was always bustling. The whole morning was spent in this busy work. The weather was cold and it was getting dark quickly, so Lin Wanshu planned to go to the hospital early today and make grilled fish for lunch. Had already killed the fish while she was chatting. Hyun Zhu is helping to wash and cut vegetables, coming and carrying a fish and a bag. Wanwan, I didn't enjoy the fish I had last week. My family has been arguing about it for a week. I'll bring one today, and we can grill it together. Who was following behind couldn't help but roll his eyes. It's obviously what you want to eat, okay? Put the blame on him. Hearing this, Yu Fangfang was not embarrassed at all by being exposed. Instead, she said confidently, "Son, don't say that. Don't you want to learn how to grill this fish? Look at you. You failed to grill it a few days ago. Feng Jianxi. Don't you know why I didn't bake it successfully? It was obviously because she didn't remember the sauce recipe that he failed. How dare you talk about him now?" Hearing this, Yu Fangfang's face finally showed a little more embarrassment and she chuckled. "Don't worry about the details." Lin Wanshu, who was standing by, was once again amused by the mother and son. "You? Really? How can you bully your son like this?" After that, she turned to Feng Jianxi and said, "Jianxi, come here, let me teach you how to grill fish." Feng Jianxi. What's the difference between this and ducking? All of these people treating him like a child laborer like this, don't they feel guilty? Feng Jianxi complained in his heart, but walked to Lin Wanshu very honestly. "Aunt Wanwan, you have to teach me how to make the sauce today. Next time I will bake it for my sister." Once he has mastered the technique of grilling fish, he doesn't believe that his sister will not be amazed by him. Feng Jianxi thought with full fighting spirit. But Xiao Miao Miao and other children were roasting fire beside the brazier. The whole yard was still bustling with activity. He Wenju listened to the laughter and chatter full of life, and a smile appeared on the corner of her lips. Without war and terror. Even though her life now is not as affluent as in her previous life, He Wenju is still very satisfied. At least here you don't have to worry about a bomb dropping on your head at any time, nor do you have to worry about being displaced one day. He Wenju was cutting vegetables while listening to their conversation, feeling the seemingly ordinary yet precious humility of life. Just as she was immersed in the excitement, suddenly, Lin Wanshu's enthusiastic voice came from the grill. "Hey, Captain Chiu, you're here. Come in and sit down. We're grilling fish. I heard that Wenju and Tingting were here and I just happened to see a fellow villager catching fish, so I exchanged 2 fish for you and grilled them together for you to eat." Chiu Yong was also holding a crucian carp in his hand. However, they were a little smaller than the ones Qin Yan caught. Both looked to be more than 1 or 2 kilograms each. Lin Wanshu naturally made some polite remarks before taking the fish and inviting him in to sit down. He Wenju didn't expect Chiu Yong to come here, and she suddenly felt unwell. "I almost cut my hand accidentally." As soon as Chiu Yong entered the door, his attention was on He Wenju. Seeing that she almost cut her hand, his face suddenly changed. "Wenju, be careful." He walked forward and said, "This is too dangerous. Let me do the cutting." He Wenju didn't want to pay attention to him yet. She snorted, left the vegetable garden, and went to warm herself by the fire. If he likes to cut, let him cut. Seeing that she was still angry, Chiu Yong touched his nose, his face looking a little embarrassed. Although he did go a little too far last night, Chiu Yong did not regret it. He didn't mean much to her in the first place. They only met once a week, and if they had to sleep in separate rooms, how could they cultivate their relationship? But she ignored him now, and Chiu Yong felt a little headache. He wanted to say a few words to He Wenju, but there were too many people around, so he could only bear it and resigned himself to picking up the kitchen knife and starting to cut the side dishes. Lin Wanshu already had 1 fish, and now there were 3 more. The children were very happy. Last week's grilled fish was delicious, but the portion was too small. So many today, so they can pick up a few more with their chopsticks. The 3 extra fish were killed swiftly by Qin Yan. Feng Yandong has also come and is helping to set up the rack to grill fish. There were 3 men there, and the fish were quickly put on the racks. Lin Wanshu also called Ji Hualan and Shen Shuwen, but seeing that they had not arrived yet, she urged Shenyu again. "Shenyu, where are your parents? Why haven't they come yet?" Shenyu was promoting his new pet to Xiao Miao Miao. Upon hearing this, he responded without even turning his head. "They said they would be here soon, so I guess it will be soon." Anyway, he had finally squeezed in to sit next to his sister, so there was no way he could get up again. After saying that, he put the fluffy little chick in front of Miao Miao. "Look, sister, this is Xiao Huang. Isn't he cute?" The chick was just a few days old when it hatched. Maybe because it was away from its hen, it felt cold and scared, and it kept chirping. Xiao Meow Meow likes fluffy things the most. When I saw the cute little chicks, my eyes lit up immediately. This time she did not refuse the pet he gave her, and stretched out her chubby hands to take the chick. Xiao Huang. She lowered her voice as if she was afraid of scaring the little one. Xiao Meow Meow took the chick. A magical scene appeared. Originally chirping stopped chirping as if it had found its mother, and instead jumped straight into Xiao Meow Meow's arms. No one can resist such adorable baby animals, and Meow Meow is no exception. Holding the chick in her arms, she hugged it. While hugging her, she comforted her. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Xinyu saw that Xiao Meow Meow finally accepted the little pet he gave her. He was so happy that he wanted to jump up. Brother, look, Meow Meow likes the little yellow one I gave her. Xinyu said complacently. Xinxiai. What's the use? Mom will take it back later. Xinyu. A good person only have a mouth? After a while, Ji Hualan and Xin Shuwen arrived. They also did not come empty-handed. They not only brought rice and side dishes, but also a piece of pork belly. When the children saw the meat, their eyes turned green, and they swallowed their saliva.
Wow.
It's meat! Someone shouted, and the already bustling yard suddenly turned into a sea of joy. The children watched Lin Wanshu grilling fish, then went to the kitchen to watch Qin Yan cutting meat. They were all very busy. There were so many people, so Lin Wanshu directly put the grilled fish on 2 iron plates. The larger ones go on the grill, while the smaller ones go on the brazier. Wait until it is cooked, and then serve it to the children. With strength in numbers, the grilled fish was ready quickly. Lin Wanshu asked everyone to sit down. He Wenju originally wanted to sit next to Lin Wanshu, but she didn't know that Yu Fangfang had already occupied the seat. When she wanted to find another seat, the only empty seat left was the one next to Qiu Yong. He Wenju. Wenju, why don't you sit down? This fish is so delicious, come sit down and eat it. Seeing that she was standing there and not sitting down, Ji Hualan greeted her. Qiu Yong didn't say anything, just stared at her, and anyone could see the expectation in his eyes. He Wenju pursed her lips, and finally sat next to him awkwardly. As soon as they sat down, Qiu Yong picked up a piece of fish maw and put it into her bowl. Eat it quickly, or it will get cold and taste bad. Who was sitting on his right, was struggling to pick up the fish. Seeing that her father was only concerned about her mother and had no intention of helping her, she couldn't help but doubt her life. She have picked it up? She was just confused, but when she saw Meow Meow's father across the street had the same doubt, she quickly felt relieved. Lin Wanshu had just made when she arrived at the staff quarters was ready. It happened to be cold, so she filled 2 pots and poured wine for the men. She brewed was better than the one bought outside, and in addition to the twister, she also added a few medicinal herbs to the blend. The wine is intoxicating just by smelling it, and after taking a sip, the mellow and lingering taste is so amazing that one cannot help but marvel at it.
Good wine.
Xin Shuwen smacked his lips to savor the taste. As soon as the wine goes down your throat, your whole body feels warm. In this cold weather, there is nothing more comfortable than drinking a sip of such wine. When He Wenju saw that they were drinking enthusiastically, a hint of eagerness to try appeared in her eyes. Lin Wanshu had just finished pouring wine for Qiu Yong, and when she saw it, she asked, Wenju, do you want some too? It's a bit strong. I don't know how much He Wenju can drink. Anyway, she couldn't drink much, and Qin Yan was watching her closely and basically didn't let her drink. Plus, she had to go to Wen City soon, so Lin Wanshu consciously didn't plan to drink. He Wenju also drank some alcohol in her previous life, and she had tried some high-proof alcohol. Hearing this, she hesitated for a moment, but finally nodded. Let's try some. When Qiu Yong, who was standing by, heard this, his eyebrows jumped. He wanted to say something, but he had already annoyed people last night, so how could he dare to say anything to spoil the fun? In the end, I could only look at her with hesitation. He Wenju didn't care about him. She picked up the wine and took a sip. As soon as the wine enters your mouth, a spicy taste instantly spreads in your mouth. Although He Wenju was mentally prepared, she still almost choked. Is this wine too spicy? Qiu Yong, who was standing by, had been keeping an eye on her. When he saw her face turn red, he quickly handed her a glass of water. Drink some water. He Wenju. His face got even redder. So embarrassing. Qiu Yong couldn't help but laugh when he saw her embarrassed look. The water. He took her wine away directly. This wine is a bit spicy. I'll get you a bowl of soup. In the past, Qiu Yong would not have done these things. After all, in my hometown, women serve men. If a man serves a woman, he will definitely be laughed at. But ever since he saw how Qin Yan got along with his wife, Qiu Yong also subconsciously began to learn from him. He Wenju originally wanted to say that she could fight on her own, but Qiu Yong didn't even give her a chance to speak. After saying that, he got up and went to the kitchen. After a while, he came back with a bowl of soup. He Wenju. Looking at the soup in front of me, all of a sudden, the stuffiness I felt in the morning disappeared without a trace.
Thanks.
Without refusing his kindness, He Wenju picked up the soup and started drinking it. Seeing her drinking the soup he made, Qiu Yong also breathed a sigh of relief. He was in a good mood and started drinking with a few other men. The atmosphere at the table was very warm with good wine and delicious food. After a while, everyone started talking about Tang Xiangdong's leg injury. Sister-in-law, my wife told me that Wang Guogong's old leg injury has healed now, right? Shen Shuwen finished speaking. All the men present looked at Lin Wanshu. Before they came, they had heard that Lin Wanshu had developed a medicine that could even heal a deformed leg injury. What is the concept? If this is true, then the effect of this medicine can be described as abnormal. This is another reason why Qiu Yong and Feng Yandong came here today with such a thick face. They all wanted to know if this was true. Facing several pairs of burning gazes, Lin Wanshu didn't keep anyone in suspense and just nodded. It's true. I just removed the wooden planks this morning, and it's about 70% restored now. But the remaining rheumatoid arthritis is the most troublesome. Hearing that it was true, Qiu Yong and Feng Yandong became visibly excited. How great would it be if this medicine could be used in the army? But no matter how excited they were, they did not have the nerve to ask her to hand over the prescription to the country. After all, such a prescription can be regarded as a priceless treasure, and asking people to hand it over for nothing is a form of moral kidnapping. The bandits didn't do that either. What's more, she had already handed it over once, so they didn't have the face to ask for it. Comrade Xiaolin, do you plan to make more of this medicine? Our regiment can buy it from you. After considering it for a while, Qiu Yong asked. Previous prescriptions can be used in the rear, and this quick-to-use ointment can be used on the front line. This will not harm Lin Wanshu's interests and will also save more injured people. Hearing this, Lin Wanshu was a little surprised. She didn't expect that he would ask to buy ointment from her. This touched her heart to some extent. After all, the other person did not take it for granted that she had to contribute this precious medicine for the sake of justice, but would rather spend money to buy it from her. She was very lucky. Most of the people she met, whether they were soldiers or their wives, were of noble character. How could she not be moved when meeting such a group of lovely people? To be honest, I do want to mass-produce this medicine, but I can't do so much work by myself. I wanted to ask you something, but now that you've brought it up, I'll just tell you what I think. Hearing this, the people present no longer cared about eating fish and turned to look at her. Comrade Xiaolin, please feel free to tell me what you think. Qiu Yong said quickly. Lin Wanshu did not keep the secret, and after a pause, she continued, I want to set up a pharmaceutical factory in the family compound to produce this wound medicine and some commonly used Chinese medicine pills. Hearing this, everyone was stunned.
Wan,
what did you say? You said you wanted to open a pharmaceutical factory? Yu Feng's eyes widened. He is worthy of being her idol. His courage is simply amazing. Lin Wanshu nodded. That's right, we're going to set up a pharmaceutical factory. I've already investigated. We have abundant medicinal materials here, but there are many mountains and little flat land. The grain output is also low, and the life of the team below is very difficult. Here can help the villagers use some of the mountain land to grow some medicinal herbs, solving their economic difficulties. It can also solve the employment problem of the sisters-in-law. During this period, they have also mastered the basic methods of processing medicinal materials. After further training, they can directly start working. From how to solve the problem of funding for opening a factory, to how to grow medicinal materials, how to produce them, and finally how to sell them, Lin Wanshu explained everything clearly. Everyone present was so shocked that their mouths could almost fit an egg. Lao Qin, what kind of wife did you marry? After she finished speaking, Shen Shuwen couldn't help but touch Qin Yan's arm with a look of amazement. What is the structure of people's brains? Can he make medicine? He also has such deep insights into running a factory. Just by hearing her say this, Shen Shuwen could imagine how many people would be able to live a good life if this factory was established. Lin Wanshu had not yet had time to tell Qin Yan about the idea of setting up a factory. At this moment, Qin Yan was as shocked as Shen Shuwen. But at the same time as I was shocked, the pride in my heart couldn't help but surge up. This is the person he has been thinking about for 2 lifetimes. My wife has always been very capable, but she is relatively low-key. Whenever he met his wife, Qin Yan, who had never known what humility was, would boast proudly. Shen Shuwen's teeth were almost falling out from the sourness of him. Although I feel jealous, I am also really envious. On the other hand, Qiu Yong did not expect that Lin Wanshu would have such a plan. Faced with such huge benefits, she did not consider herself, but first thought about solving the employment problems of the military wives and the livelihoods of the villagers. What kind of selflessness is this? Comrade Xiaolin, on behalf of the troops, the family compound, and the brigade below, I would like to express my gratitude to you. Qiu Yong stood up and saluted her solemnly. The captain has saluted, so how can the others just sit there? Immediately, they all stood up and saluted Lin Wanshu. Even Qin Yan was no exception. This scene directly scared Lin Wanshu. She quickly stood up and said to them, "You're welcome. As a member of the Republic, it is my honor to contribute a little to the country's development." Although when she died, the country was still far behind the West. But she believed that with their hard work and efforts, sooner or later they would catch up with the countries on the other side of the ocean. To achieve this goal, many people have been working silently and anonymously. She just gave 2 prescriptions, which is really not worth mentioning. But in this age that advocates selfless dedication, her spirit still moves everyone. Ever since Lin Wanshu proposed to set up a factory, everyone looked at her with a little more respect. Especially Huanju. In her previous life, she pursued communism and fell under the gun of a traitor. She never expected that in this life, she would be so lucky to meet a group of like-minded people. This made her heart full of excitement. "Wanshu, if the pharmaceutical factory needs any help from me, just tell me. I don't have any other abilities, but connecting the power supply and making a mold are no problem for me. Since it is a factory, it is natural to have machinery. Otherwise, if you rub it with your hands, how much ointment can you make in a day? No matter what, as long as it can create employment and boost the economy, Huanju wants to try it." Although Ji Hualan knew that Lin Wanshu was a person with ideals and aspirations, at this moment, she was still moved by her. "And me, Wanshu, if there's anything you need me to coordinate, just let me know." When Yu Fangfang saw that everyone had expressed their opinions, she suddenly became anxious. "And me, too. I work at the county government. If you need me to run errands, don't hesitate to ask me." Although she already had a job, she didn't need the job in the pharmaceutical factory. But it is such an exciting thing to be able to personally participate in the construction of a pharmaceutical factory. Lin Wanshu heard the words of the military wives. She was immediately moved. Blinking her sore eyes, she joked, "Needless to say, I will definitely trouble you. Just don't think I'm annoying when the time comes." Yu Fangfang straightened her chest and said, "Don't look down on me.
Just say it."
If I complain even a little, I won't be named you." Feng Yandong felt warm in his heart as he looked at the determined look in his wife's eyes, who was always out of tune with him, and his eyes became incredibly gentle. The other 2 men were also very proud of their wives' awareness. Since joining the army, they have been to many places, but no family compound has ever been as united and friendly as the one they have now. Women either help each other, and they don't need to bother to mediate their relationships. Now they have to solve their own employment problems in the rear.
How could they not be proud of this?
Come on, let's have a drink for our outstanding female comrades. Shin Shu-win raised his wine glass, smacked his teeth, and said happily. Men responded one after another. The women did not drink alcohol, so they drank tea instead and raised their cups. The atmosphere at the dinner table became more lively. Everyone discussed the matters of setting up a factory, until the end of the show that the general plan was basically finalized. However, this matter still needs to be reported to the superiors, and before it is confirmed, Lin Wanshu has no plans to tell others in advance. Let's keep it secret for now and wait until the application is approved. Naturally, other people have no objection. It was already 3:30 in the afternoon when we finished our meal. It got dark early, and Qin Yan was afraid that she would not be safe there, so he sent her to the station early. When we set off, there were still 2 bicycles. Lin Wanshu habitually put her hand into Qin Yan's pocket. Qiu Yong saw this. He suddenly felt jealous and turned around to look at Huanju. Wife, are your hands cold? He had no idea how many times he had called her that last night. But Huanju still wasn't used to it. Resisting the urge to rub her ears, she said calmly, I'm not cold. However, the man was obviously a domineering person, and asking her was just a formality. As soon as Huanju finished speaking, someone grabbed her hand and stuffed it directly into his pocket. But I think you're cold, so you should put your hand here. Huanju. We arrived at the station. The sky was already gray. The car won't arrive for another half an hour. The 2 men were unwilling to go back so soon, so they stayed at the station with them while waiting for the bus. Lin Wanshu got bored, so she took out a handful of melon seeds and handed them to Huanju. In the past, Huanju would definitely not eat melon seeds in public without any image. But since she started playing with the military wives, she has become less rule-abiding and more casual. She took the melon seeds and ate them while waiting for the bus. However, although she was eating melon seeds, she didn't intend to throw the sheks everywhere. Instead, he put the melon seed shek in his other hand. Qiu Yong looked at Qin Yan, who was holding out his hands to give the melon seed sheks to Lin Wanshu. After hesitating for a moment, he also stretched out his hand and said to Huanju, Wife, put the melon seed sheks here. Seeing that he was feeling uncomfortable all over but still forcing himself, Huanju couldn't help but burst out laughing. Captain Qiu, you don't have to do this.
I can get it myself.
With Tong Xiangxiao's memories, she naturally knew how macho the men in Ning City were. It was really too difficult for him to help her pick up the melon seed sheks in public. It was the first time Qiu Yong saw her smile so happily, and he couldn't help but stare. When he came to his senses, he said with red ears, I am your man. It is my duty to help you with the melon seed sheks. As he said this, the discomfort on his face lessened a bit. Doesn't Qin Yan also dote on his wife like this? Everyone jokes that he dotes on his wife too much, who doesn't envy him in private. Seeing that he really wanted to give her the melon seed sheks, Huanju did not refuse and directly put all the melon seed sheks into his hands. The soft hand slid across the calloused hand, and an invisible and intangible electric current came from the rough palm. Huanju's heart skipped a beat. Her face couldn't help but blush slightly. She quickly withdrew her hand, and in order to hide her discomfort, she pretended to be calm and continued to eat melon seeds. However, the feeling between men and women is so mysterious. Although she didn't say anything, Qiu Yong could still sense that something was different. Instantly, his eyes were filled with excitement and joy, and his burning gaze was looking at people without any mistakes. Huanju was so annoyed that she couldn't even eat melon seeds. Finally, she couldn't help it and started to chase people away. You should go back quickly. It's dark outside, and it's hard to walk. It's okay. I brought a flashlight. Besides, Qin Yan hasn't left yet. Huanju. I couldn't persuade him, so I could only ignore his burning gaze. Fortunately, the car was not delayed for too long. After I finished cracking a handful of melon seeds, the bus appeared at the station. Lin Wanshu took her bag and stuffed the last melon seed she peled into Qin Yan's mouth before saying, You go back. I can get in the car by myself. He Wenju ran even faster. When the car came, she waved to Chiu Yong randomly and walked in front of Lin Wanshu. Chiu Yong. Qin Yan. Lin Wanshu got on the bus. She found that there were already quite a few people on the bus, so she sat in the last row with He Wenju. It was already late, and it was getting darker outside. Not long after, a few more people got on the car, and Meng Yuanshuang happened to be among them. Yuan Shuang, there's a seat here. Lin Wanshu saw it and waved at her. Even though she left without saying hecko yesterday, we all knew each other after all, and it wouldn't be nice to just ignore her. However, Meng Yuanshuang, who heard her call, turned her head subconsciously and said in a somewhat stiff voice, "No need, Wanshu. I'll just stand here for a while." Lin Wanshu. Well, once again I've been rejected for my efforts. Since the other person didn't want to come, Lin Wanshu didn't force him. After all, they had only lived together in a dormitory for half a month. It would be a lie to say that they had deep feelings for each other. After being alienated inexplicably several times, Lin Wanshu's heart grew cold. After all, she has done everything right and has never let anyone down, so there is no need for her to waste her time on internal energy. She ignored